It's hot as a bitch out here, man. All right. Microphone check, microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's let the algorithm do what the algorithm does. Push the feed out to the people. At some point, I'm gonna start like actually taking my time to do thumbnails and shit so this gets out. But whatever. We ain't at that point right now. At this point, it's time to light up the bull. Looks like we got 2 people in here already. What up? Ben said he here. What up, though? What up, Ben? Tater in the place to be. What up, though? Yo, thank y'all for joining in. Got a couple more people that's just joined in. Thank y'all for joining in with the kids. Appreciate y'all for having the notifications on to come hang out with your boy. Really appreciate it, man. That's actually a really cool feeling. I know this is kind of an odd time to come on. We got Smiley up in the place to be. What up, though? Looking like we got a lot of West Coasters out there. Oh, we got somebody from the East Coast. Got the homie. Yeah, man, it's bull night, man. You guys inspired me to get the bull, so it was time to light that up. This one is really interesting though. Like I'm really kind of curious to see if this one is gonna be any different. Let me see what the homie said here. Ben said, I just finished the Oliva V Milano Figurado. That's a good smoke, man. That's always a good way to go. Got my homie G up in here, man. Shisashi Booty, man. What up, man? Long time no see. What up, homie? I saw you've been smoking good too. I peeped that out though. I did see that. But yeah, man, that it's funny that you mentioned that, man. I've actually been thinking about going back to the Milano. I gave it a rest because I smoked a lot of those cigars, and I got quite a few Vitolas in the humidor that I just haven't lit up yet, just because I felt like I overdid it with the Milano for a period there, and I just needed time to kind of let that cigar chill for a minute. And I might follow suit with you. I got a Figurado too, but that being said, Ben, what did you think about the Figurado? It sounded like just the way you typed that you enjoyed it, but I can't speak, trying to what is it, be all detective and psychologist based on what you type, but it did sound like you enjoyed that, man. So that's what's up, everybody. While I go into talking about this bull, man, y'all tell me, how did your week go? How was your weekend? What y'all think about the Olympics? How have you guys been doing all the way around? And that's what we're gonna get this Smoke Your Best started with. I don't know how deep or philosophical I want to be this time around. I just really wanted to kick back, smoke a good cigar, and have a conversation and just be with y'all for a minute because it's been a while. Man, y'all know this is a long smoke. But while we at it, why is my camera on, man? But anyway, while we at it, take a look at this one. I'm gonna get this one in the light. Right here. Bang. So, of course, everybody knows this. LFD, Andalusian Bull. I really wanted to go and have a cigar that I really felt like I could enjoy. And you want to smoke your best. I haven't had a bull in a while. A lot of the fellas from the Unbanded, from the Wavy crew, and shouts out to Jamon on that. The Wavy crew has recently had the bull, and I was like, man, I didn't grab it at the time because I just hopped on the live, and I didn't have it at the time. And ever since then, my brain has been like, yo, I need to go back. I need to smoke the bull again. It's been a minute. But the reason why I'm holding this one up is because I wish I had brought the other one up here because it's so much darker than the other one. This one almost looks like it's sun grown. Like the wrapper on this one was, it has a much more reddish hue to it. It was definitely darker. And I don't know if this is going to affect the flavor profile. I'm kind of curious to see if it is. Am I going to get something roasty? Or am I going to get more caramel from this instead of more of the vanilla flavors that you would usually get from a bull? Is it going to taste more New Worldy than it would taste kind of Cuban-esque? I don't know. We're going to find out. I need to stop bullshitting around and get this bad boy lit, or I'm going to be out here for 4 hours trying to smoke a bull. I don't want to do that. I got shit to do today. Let me get to the comments, see what everybody's talking about here while I light this bad boy up. Homie Smiley said, Oliva V 135th season for 2 years. Nice. Excellent cigar right now. That's smoking your best right now, man. That's what's up. I don't even know if I had the 135th. I don't think so. I don't think so because honestly I haven't really been rocking with Oliva in a minute, man. Even the Melanio, and I absolutely love the Melanio. So that might be one to check out. Mm. And this is the first cigar that I've had in a minute, so allow me a second to get that lit up so we can all enjoy. Let's see what else is popping here. I mean, I appreciate y'all always, coming through with the comments too, man, and showing up just unexpectedly, man. I really appreciate y'all. Afshin said, "What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? Showing love to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate that." I forgot the name of it, but there's a drink out there in Japan that has live baby fish in it. Have you drank it? Nah. I would have to look that one up. I forget what it's called, but it's a very common dish where you got the little baby fish in it. And my wife got this. She ordered something one day, and it was like a salad, and it had those fish on it. You can just get those at the convenience too. I assume it's the same fish. I don't know. But my wife didn't realize what it was. She just thought it was like, some kind of seasoning. And she looked at it and she was like, yo, these are eyes looking back at me. Freaked out. She couldn't eat it. That was funny as hell. I'll never forget that. But especially if it's alcohol, I don't know. I assume it wouldn't be alcohol if you got, fish actually swimming in it. But, I don't drink alcohol other than wine. So I haven't had that one. I haven't even seen it. If you figure out what that is, put it in the comments so I can look for it because I'm curious. I'm always curious to see new stuff. Hey, appreciate that love, man. Definitely hit that like button, man. Let's get this out to the people. When y'all hit that like button, it gets it out to people who normally wouldn't see the show, see the channel. It's gonna be a slow burner right here, but that's what gets the content going. Smiley said the Bull was a great choice. Yeah, man. So far, so good. It's still getting lit. This is gonna be a slow burner, man. I'm telling you. But flavor wise, man, like I know some people don't like the cigar, but I never understand why they don't like the cigar. Just because this is a cigar, like from the moment you light it up, it's good. I'm already getting the cream from the light up, not getting any pepper at all. And that, this is more caramelly. Still got a vanilla profile to it. Nice draw. The right amount of cedar in there. This is phenomenal, man. I don't understand how people don't like the cigar. Let's see what the snowman talking about here. Snowman, is this, you got young Jeezy up in here? Burr. I don't even listen to Jeezy like that, but that's funny. Just finished up 60 by RP Decent Smoke. Yeah, I did a review on that one a while ago, man. I was in, where the hell was I when I did that review? I think I was back in the States on a vacation. And I actually dig that cigar. There was a period where Rocky Patel was actually doing pretty good, with cigars, and I thought the 60 was one of the cigars that I appreciate out of that. So I think you had a good choice on that. Moses saying what up to everybody. What up, Moses? I had a bull to celebrate Hobby's birthday. Shout out to Hobby, man. Shout out to Hobby. Hobby been showing a lot of love, man. That's really cool, man. And so I'm glad he getting that love back, man. And I missed his birthday. I've been so busy. I missed that. I didn't even see that joy pop up, man. So happy belated to you, Hobby. Was good. My number one in 2 years smoking. Number two was Opus X, Perfection X. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that Perfection X, man. I don't really jump out the window for the Opus X, though. As much as I love Fuente. What I might have to do is do a Smoke Your Best when I get all of you guys together. Maybe do it on Patreon or something like that, and to get people to kind of vote for their favorite Opus X and what they think I should smoke, and maybe change my opinion on Opus X, because I dig Opus. but I would rather smoke a Bull than an Opus. And just I dig Opus, man, and like even when I'm smoking this, it kind of gives me a similar flavor, but I feel like the Opus oftentimes are missing something. But I know there are different varieties of it. But when you let's say something like the Angel Share, or what's the other joint that I was thinking of, the Lost City. Every time I smoke one of those, I get disappointed, and it's just really not the move for me. But I haven't had a Perfection X. So that might be one worth trying. So y'all can let me know where I should go as far as Opus X and see if y'all can change my opinion on that. And I might do something on Patreon to go along with that. Best box worthy New World cigar under $20. God dang. Dang, that's the question. That's a put you on the spot question right there. Under $20. I was just talking about this recently. I feel like I should have this more off the top of the head. But under $20, I'm trying to think in price range right now, and kind of see off the top. Right now, what's calling to me is the Bronze Back by Dunbar and Tobacco and Trust. That's the one that's calling to me off the top of the head. But I feel like I've had something else recently that was definitely box worthy, and I was talking about it. And I'm just kind of drawing a blank on it, and I'm almost sure it was under $20. Let me think on that, man. After we go through some things, maybe it'll come up a little bit, and I'll kind of get my bad. Definition Cigars, the Noir Cameroon. So Bronze Back Noir Cameroon right now off the top of the head would be two cigars under $20 that I say are most definitely box worthy. Sorry, that took me a moment. I had to go through the mental Rolodex, but I would definitely go there for sure. I've never seen a bull in the flesh. That's a Saturday morning cartoon looking cigar. You know what? I'm actually glad you said that, because one, that's part of the reason why I love the Bartolo on this one. But I would say the unicorn is much more of that profile, and that's why I fell in love with the unicorn. Now, will I pay $100 for a unicorn? Hell to the fucking no. But I do love the fact that that cigar does give that Saturday morning cartoon feel. This Salomon does kind of fit within that similar profile, so I'm not mad at that at all. And if you do get a chance, man, like Moses, for real, at some point in time, you gotta, find a bull. It's definitely worth the experience. It's definitely worth the smoke. It's such a good cigar, man. Kind of give you that Cuban-esque profile, but also give you a little bit more depth and consistency than a Cuban for sure. You don't get the Cuban twang, but for me, you get everything else. Plus, you get a little bit more of a sweet profile. That vanilla, that caramel, it's such a beautiful thing, man. So if you get a chance, make that happen, Captain. Damn, y'all are rolling with these comments, man. So I'm trying to keep up with y'all. New subscriber here. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for showing love, man. I'm having the 2024 Las Calaveras tonight. Shouts out to you for getting your hands on that Las Calaveras, man. I'm starting to see it kind of roll out now. People starting to, post their pictures of it, smoke that cigar. I haven't had it yet. I am curious to see what you think about it, Lewis. And thank you for being a new subscriber, man. What's really cool is I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers. And it's so cool that, I've had a lot of new people join into the channel, especially now that, the most that I do right now is pop on and do lives like this to have conversations with y'all. So when getting new subscribers with the way that I post and the inconsistency that I post right now, it actually means a lot, man. So first of all, jumping in to join this, it's dope, bro. And I appreciate it. I see you got another comment here too. So thank you for the support, man. That means a lot. Started with the Robusto on that joint. That's dope, man. I hope you liked it, man, because it's been kind of up and down this year for Crown Heads, even though I still got mad love for Crown Heads. But I'm hoping this cigar is going to be the Deadpool and Wolverine of their universe right now. That's going to give them kind of like a jolt, to keep Crown Heads at the same stature where it was and, where it should be. So we're gonna see about that. I'm hoping that's going good. Just Googled it. It's simply called the live fish drink. That yo. All right, look. Here's the thing with that. I'm gonna take a little bit off of this. Here's the thing. Like, what's wild to me is I think I mentioned this to you guys before. I don't eat cooked fish, right? I'm not a big fish eater because I don't like stuff that tastes fishy. Like salmon, I like, nah, I can't do it, right? But fresh fish, like I can sushi, I can do, but it's only like certain fish, like tuna, I can do it because it's like squid, stuff like that. It's real, like I can do. I don't know like what kind of drink this is. I'm gonna look this thing up, man. But I'm like really curious to see what this experience is gonna be like. So I will talk about this more. I'm gonna expound on this. So I'm first of all, I'm just glad you're bringing it up on the live, man, and giving me something to kind of dig into to pique my interest and find like while I'm here. I'm also gonna do while we on the topic right now. I'm also going to go to Fukuoka. A lot of people have been requesting this. A lot of people have been asking me to, do the video blog again. So I'm gonna go to Fukuoka. I found a cigar shop that's out there. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do my little video thing in Fukuoka and talk about a cigar shop that's out there and let y'all get that experience. I found a really dope spot up there. So I might add that live fish drink in there just to kind of do something creative and fun, just to see how it goes. So let's see how that rocks out. I got to get some things situated on this side before I do that, though. But coming soon. I had a Tatuaje vertical. I don't like, even when I see that written down on the band, I never know if I'm saying that right. So he had the Robusto a couple nights ago, and it was a great stick. I wasn't really expecting it. Nah, that's been a solid one, man, from Tatuaje. Kohonu, I don't know how it's pronounced. That and the Havana series have been some of the Tatuajes that I really like appreciate. So I'm not really super surprised at that, but I understand the sentiment on that, Tony, because Tatuaje can be kind of hit and miss. When they hit though, and that's one of those that I feel like hits. I know I'm getting kind of behind. I'm on like Peter time right now and Matt time with the chat, man. But I wasn't expecting y'all to go off like this. I really thought this was gonna be super laid back. So this is dope. But yeah, this is from earlier. We were talking about a box worthy cigar that's under $20. Y'all know I was saying bronze back. Peter is definitely gonna say bronze back. That bronze back get mad love right there, and I think we got some more coming up on the same thing. Foundation Olmec, definitely box worthy. I will not argue with that one at all, Tony. My homie Jerome was just sending me pictures that said he just got his Olmec, but he got the Claro. And I'm really excited for him to actually, light up that cigar. I don't think he's had it yet. And, I've been, beating the drum about how good Foundation Olmec is, even though I haven't had one in maybe it's been a couple months. I don't think it's been that long. I think I lit one up not too long ago. It was a Claro. So I want to get that Maduro going again soon. Let me see here. We got the Goldie is the $18 size. Yo, a lot of people show love for that Goldie, man. That's the La Polina joint, right? I haven't lit that up in a minute. So let's see. You're right. The Lost City is hit and miss for the $30 plus on that. It should be called the Found City. It might as well be the Lost and Found of the of the Fuente line, the Lost and Found. If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. Homie Greg is up in here. What up, Greg? Yo, Greg, I was literally just thinking about you, man, because I did not forget about what you asked me about. And I was going to send you a message to say the best thing to probably do is to get with DJ, but I'll get with you behind the scenes on that. But let me get to what your comment is that the bronze back or the Aladino Cameroon observer for newer sticks. Man, look. Smoke break, sorry. I was going through the humidor and I was looking at this like I don't have a lot of the newest cigars that are out there, just because of circumstances where I am and all that kind of stuff like that. And I've been kind of like dodging, when people, saying they're gonna send out boxes and all that. I've been dodging that, like, just because it's been difficult for me to send boxes out and to get boxes back out to people. That being said, that Aladino Cameroon is looking like a star for 2024. I haven't had it yet. I can't speak for myself. But if you're just looking at the population and the zeitgeist and the way people are, going after certain cigars, and when the feedback starts coming out, this is getting like the hype of a cigar. And it's kind of cool to see that. I always think back to when I first started the vintage cigar, and I was in that, FOMO period, and, the fear of missing out. And I was doing everything I could to get, cigars for the channel, and, doing all the top 10 lists, and, doing wish lists and all that kind of stuff. When you just kind of in that zone of being a new cigar reviewer, and you want the newest, the greatest, and the best cigars and the whole nine. This is one of those cigars that was kind of like the Monte Cristo, what was that, the 1935 or whatever. I'm trying to think of like the Plasencia Almafuerte, Andalusian Bull, the Lost City at one point in time. It was a period. Oh, the Sobremesa Brulee. Like that was like one of the cigars that like everybody around you that was in the cigars is talking about that cigar and how great it is and how innovative it is and how new. Sin Compromiso is another one of those cigars. I'll say the Old Mac was one of those recently. There's certain cigars that just kind of broke the mold and had everybody buzzing, had everybody talking, whether it was the band, whether it was how the cigar looked, how the cigar smoked, the flavors on the cigar, just the heat that came out with that cigar. Right now, Aladino Cameroon is the one that is the go-getter. And at some point I got to get that. And just seeing like the way people are talking about that cigar is really showing that that's where it's at right now. So I'm gonna get up on that. He said, "Bulls up, Bulls on parade, homie." Oh, okay. Look. So speaking of, you want to see a bull in person? Holla at the homie Greg right here. So that is a good way to do it. Shouts out to you, Greg. What up, bro? I'm chilling, man. I'm just happy to see y'all. What up? What up, Hugo? What's good, homie? Take it easy. Chill, man. I'm chilling. Y'all are the best. You said that 2009 Kahonu is solid. One of my favorites. The 2012 is probably my favorite. But yeah, definitely. You guys ever smoked an old favorite and hate it? Just went back to the smoke that got me into cigars and put it out halfway through. Dude, Moses, you can't say this without saying what that cigar is. Like you gotta say like what that is. And yeah, I've had that experience before. I'm trying to go through the mental Rolodex and think about what cigar that was, but it's been quite a few. Because there was like when you get into the hobby, man, it's like a lot of the cigars that you start off with are usually going to be probably something on the general cigars, probably going to be something from Altadis, and it's going to be those kind of like fake heritage brand cigars, and a lot of people kind of start off with that. And I know just my progression and my evolution as a cigar smoker, like my palate has changed significantly. Even if you go back through and just look at the vintage cigar, just to kind of see like what I started smoking, and what I smoke now just on a regular basis, it's a huge difference. But it's hard to do that off the top of the dome to say, yo, this is the cigar. And part of the reason why that's difficult for me most is because a lot of the times when there's cigars that I don't really rock with anymore, I just kind of put it out of mind, like because I don't go back to them unless it's like, okay, this is my first time having it. I need to smoke it again to see if I'm gonna dig and enjoy that cigar. So that's kind of how that goes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's happened. I hope people in the comments are gonna kind of chime in on that because I know that's happened a lot. But to be for real, I think the most experience I've had, I've been going back to some of the old cigars, and I really appreciate them for what they were. Like I went back to the Norteño and enjoyed that cigar. I went back to the Antaño and enjoyed those, and they still, excuse me, held up pretty good. I went back to the Rose of Sharon. I still appreciate that cigar, and I didn't have any beef with that one at all. Oh, I know, and this is Peter's fault. Y'all know I used to talk up the Magic Toast, and I really did enjoy that cigar. But having that experience that I had on Bandit with that damn cigar, man, and I never seen a cigar peter out that fast. No pun intended. But I've never seen a cigar that I've never seen a cigar go from being like, oh man, this is actually pretty good, to just turn to straight mud and really like just destroy my palate to that degree. So I don't think I'll ever be going back to the Magic Toast. I mean, that is the most Alec Bradley of Alec Bradley experiences I've had in a long time. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen again. But I think that's one that can kind of fit in that same concept of what you were talking about. Lewis said, I've not had the Los Calaveras that I didn't like. They are pretty damn good. The 2024 is not disappointing me. So that's good feedback right there. Very nice so far. Burn is immaculate. Dry box for 4 days. So that's a good shining endorsement of that cigar right now. Yeah, I want to know what cigar that was too, man. So hopefully he'll put that up. LADC Reserve. oh, there we go. Got some aged ones in the old band on them in good shape. That's what's up. Had one for Christmas and loved it. Last half tasted like dirt. Now, I mean, that happens sometimes, man. That happens sometimes. But that could have been that cigar too. So I honestly, with that one, I would, especially if you got multiple and you had a good experience. But I must say, I've never liked that cigar. That's one of the cigars that I could actually put out there when I was talking about cigars that had that heat, that people were in love with, the cigar aficionado and, the old school reviewers on YouTube and all that kind of people love that cigar. And I had that cigar for the first time and I was like, ugh. And that dirt that you got, I got it from the whole cigar. And like, I've never had that cigar where it actually made me want to go back to it. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the brand. I'm not a fan of that cigar. It's just never hit for me. But that's just my experience. Let me see what we got here. He said, I smoked the LFD La Bakota and Chisel recently. Enjoyed the Bakota, not so much on the Chisel. Word? Because I love both. The Chisel that I had the other day, God, I wish I had that. It was in a tubo. It was in a almost bronze colored tubo. Man, when I tell you that cigar was probably one of the best that I've had this year, I thought that thing was phenomenal. But different strokes for different folks. But the La Bakota is really good, especially if you're into like that darker profile. That is definitely a full body, robust coffee-esque cigar that tastes phenomenal. The Lennox is a lighter version of that. It tastes good. So I wonder, what you would think if you had the Solus. I wonder how that would work with your palate. That would just kind of give me like which way your palate is going at the moment, because I think that would determine that. Because I really enjoy all of those, man. He said we hit a brick wall with that cigar. We're talking about the Magic Toast. Yeah, man, that was rough. That was rough, man. What's crazy is that like I felt vindicated with that cigar. I really felt like, we have been going back and forth for at least a year over like whether that cigar was good or not, and it was one of two cigars out of the Alec Bradley portfolio that I actually liked: the Magic Toast and the Kintsugi. I'm still holding on to the Kintsugi, but I had to let the Magic Toast go after that, man, because that thing hurt my feelings, bro. I like hitting the wall is the best way to explain that one, Peter. Like that was brutal. Like it would full stop went from being like, oh man, I told y'all, man, this cigar ain't that bad to, ugh. What am I doing, Lawrence? I don't know if you had that one, man. But like, yo, if you might want to try that magic toast just for yourself to see what you think. I'm gonna put that up here, right here. Hold up. I don't know if the heat is getting to this laptop, but I was struggling right there for a second. Magic toast, you mean Peter's favorite? Yo, look, dog. If y'all weren't there for that unbanded, look, I'm gonna say this. I had such a good time doing the unbanded show, man, which is one of my favorite, YouTube shows right now. Just dealing with cigars. Yeah, I mean, just it's a brilliant idea, and the way Peter has taken that whole process up a notch by getting the cigars out to other people so everybody can try these cigars, without the ban. See just what your palate is thinking about cigars and kind of testing where you're going. I wanted to go into that whole process with a complete open mind in general about the magic toast and just to really see where my palate went. And I really wasn't expecting that crash. Nothing about how I describe the flavors on that was fake. I don't think anybody else is faking the funk. That's the one thing that's beautiful about the community that we have right here. People giving their honest opinions. But I had a great time doing that show, man. Just kicking it back with the fellas and, just really dissecting that cigar and really going through that experience. But man, that was brutal. I love people like kicking Peter, yo. Hey, take it easy on Peter, yo. Take it easy. This is why I like rocking with y'all, man. This is why this community is the best, man. And this is why I like doing the show. This is why I like coming up here, man. It's been real stressful for the kid, just because like I'm getting back into the job market. And I've been having a tough time in Japan for 2024, just as far as work goes. And not in the sense that like I'm struggling, not in the sense that like I'm, I want for anything. That's not it. That's not it. That hasn't been the problem. My kids are fed, the light bill is paid, the rent's paid. I got clothes. I'm eating and enjoying everything that I need to eat. I'm staying in shape. You know what I'm saying? I got time to spend with the kids and all that kind of stuff like that. But just as a human being, you want to be in a point where you're actually doing something and you're giving something back, and you're actually getting something back in return for your efforts and all that kind of stuff. That's part of the reason why I've taken a major hit on just YouTube in general, not just for the vintage cigar, but while I'm in Japan and 80s remote, like all my YouTube stuff has been put aside just because I really haven't been able to focus on anything other than trying to get myself back to work. So I've been losing sleep, and now it went from a point where like I couldn't find the work that I needed and that was fulfilling to the point now like I literally have 3 jobs. And like I gotta kind of like cut one down, and I think I got the job that I actually want. So cross your fingers for me that I get hired on that really soon. But like now I gotta let go of another job that I didn't want to do. So that's been kind of tough, man. Let's see what Sid talking about here. Said, what up, EKB? Everyone finishing up the EP Carrillo pledge and enjoying it so far. Oh, dude, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So we were talking earlier, I think it was Moses that posed the question. What's the cigar that you went back to that you enjoyed, that you didn't enjoy as much anymore? The pledge. I had the pledge the other day, right? I'm going to talk about this with y'all anyway. And maybe I mentioned it on another show, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if that was the case, but that was another cigar that was up there with the Magic Toast that I was singing the praises of. And we talk about the trilogy, which is now the quadrilogy for EP Carrillo. So let's go through it. You got the La Historia, which is never really my favorite, but I liked it. The Encore, which I really enjoyed. To me, that was always the middle of the road on the trilogy. And the Pledge is my favorite. And once again, that was one of those zeitgeist cigars. That was a cigar that everybody was on. Everybody was talking about. You had to have this cigar, blase, blah, whoop-de-whoop. Y'all know that it got that super ridiculous score from the magazine and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think that was deserved to that point. But there was a time when I was saying that I think it did deserve to get high praise for a cigar. And I went back probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had that cigar. And I had been looking at it. I had two in my humidor. I lost one. It's one floating around in this house somewhere that I have no idea what that cigar is. It might be under a bed somewhere. I really don't know. But anyway, the one that I did smoke, I was disappointed. And I had the Robusto. Which size did you have, Sid, when you smoked it? I don't think you said it here in this comment, but I had the Robusto, and man, I was let down. And it's the first time I had the cigar in quite some time. And I just wanted to go back to it to see if I still loved it as much as I did before. And that was the one that was in that quadrilogy that I was putting as number one. And right now, I think if I would go back to re-rate those cigars, I would probably say Encore, La Historia, the Allegiance, and then the Pledge. How crazy is that? I mean, that is a huge change from what it was before, because that Pledge, I had always put, and I wonder how much of this is just my palate changing, because what I was doing at the time, I would have put the Pledge, the Milanio, and the Cuatro Cinco kind of in the same ballpark flavor-wise at that point in time, right? But now that I think about it, I don't really rock with the not. Did I say that one right? What's the Nicaragua cigar? Damn. The Aging Room Quattro. Aging Room Quattro is what I meant. And like, I don't really rock with that cigar anymore. I'm not really rocking with the Pledge anymore. And I'm wondering now, like, when I go back to the Milanio, am I still gonna love that cigar as much as I did before? And that's what this whole experience is all about, man. Is when you're taking your time to really like kind of go back and really see where you're evolving to in your cigar journey, and like what it's like to see where your palate has gone over time. And then some of it is just like, maybe the blend is not the same as it was, or maybe like just maybe the Tawara is different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many different variables when it comes to the cigar. When it comes to the cigar profiles and all of that kind of stuff that really affects how it hits the palate. And that's why like I love consistency in cigars. I think a lot of the cigars that I claim to be my favorites, and the cigars that I absolutely love, the consistency has been the thing that makes me say like this is one of the top of the top. Talking consistency. Look at this cigar. Look at how it's burning. I have yet to have a bad experience with a Bull like that. Like the cigar always hits for me. It's consistent. I would say I mentioned the Definition cigar recently, and that cigar. Sorry, I'm trying to clear some of these off. There you go. That cigar consistently has been phenomenal every time I've had it. It has not let me down. Y'all know how I feel about the Mi Querida line. It consistently hits for me. The only one that I feel like out of that Mi Querida line is the Papasaka. That is not the most consistent. But everything else hits the way that it's supposed to hit, and it does what it's supposed to do. So that is always a plus. Fuente, like if you're just going with the Don Carlos, always consistent. I always talk about how much I love that cigar. It hasn't really failed me yet. We were talking about Las Calaveras. Las Calaveras has always, stood up for me and done very well. So, consistency is what is key. One thing that this Bull has been a consistent hitter. This is a cigar like that you got time that you can kick back and you can really sit back and enjoy it. And it's always going to be approachable. It's always going to be smooth. It's always going to give you just the right amount of sweetness, right amount of wood. And when we talk about cigars, like if you don't want to deal with pepper at all, if that's not something that you want in your flavor profile, this Bull is it. Like I'm not getting any kind of pepper from this cigar, and I think that's really cool. And it still give you flavor on top of that. Like that's money, man. That's money. So says showing love to Moses. I said I'm smoking the Robusto 2. It's my first EPC, so tough to compare just yet. No, definitely. And it's I think the EP Carrillo line is something that it's going to be fun for you to go through, experiment, just to see how that I feel like a lot of blenders kind of have a baseline to their cigars, and they give you like it's a through line, like there's an earthy component or it might be a chocolatey component. It's something about their blends that kind of gives you kind of a center to go off of, and you kind of know where, like Plasencia, kind of gives you that tobacco core. You kind of know what you're going to get. Fuente is really good for that with that Dominican profile. I don't know where to put EP Carrillo with that. I kind of feel like he's all over the place. Maybe somebody can correct me on that. Maybe because I feel like EP is all over with his blends. Like I don't feel like he has any kind of signature profile that works with that. So I think it might be an adventure for you to go through the EPC line and to see what you think about that, and then try a short run, and then try some of his collaborations that he has with other people. That might be really fun and an adventure for you to kind of go on to see what what you think about Carrillo and the way he does cigars. I gotta say what's up to the homies right now. The big dog is up in here. Maddie boy, what up, man? Good to see you, homeboy. You know what's funny? When you get to know somebody well enough, like I can read that and I can hear his voice. Like I can hear him saying that. I know exactly what it sounds like. So that's funny. The homie E is up in here. E, what up? What up, dude? What y'all smoke on today, man? I know y'all had something good. I had to come through for my West Coast folks. I said Las Calaveras is still working for me. Consistent newer cigar. La Historia still holds up for me. That's what's up. That's what's up. Sorry. Had to get a smoke break. Had to enjoy that for a second. But yeah, man, consistency is everything. And just kind of when you think about it, I talking about foundation, I really went hard on my praise for foundation. I went hard on my praise for Cavalier. As far as like consistency, one thing I can say about Cavalier though, now that I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about them, one thing that I can say that is inconsistent with them is their construction. And I've been having like when I go through with Cavalier, like the flavors on the cigars have usually been phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Especially like the Viso Jalapa joint, the Black series, the White series was good. What's the joint that I can never think of the name of? The joint that got the crown on it. I can never think of the name of that cigar. I always like draw a blank on the name of that cigar. But flavor-wise, that's probably the top of the top out of the Cavalier line. But I went back recently and I had the limited edition for 2023, and it didn't like I don't like the way the cigar was smoking. I don't like the way it was burning and all that kind of stuff. And I've had that kind of happen with a few of those cigars. That's the only like little drawback I can give with that. Also, consistency wise, Lampert has been really good, consistency wise, and what's the Navigator joints? God, ADV has been really consistent. It's only one. It's one that I sent out to Peter not too long ago. It wasn't super great, but that's been kind of serious. I said, dude, smoking the 30th for the first time right now. Dude, what are you thinking? I want to know because like I'm seeing this pop up, and I'm seeing that Peter got his opinion on it, and I've been kind of getting mixed reviews on that. So I'm seeing Peter saying the C tier. So I'm kind of curious to see what Matt is gonna say about that. I'm catching up with y'all. I love the fact that you guys keep the chats rolling. Everybody hit that like button for the kid, man. Thank you for all the comments and the love that y'all show for the live streams, man. Y'all don't know how much this means to me just to be a regular dude and get 20 people on a random live, man, and to have so much conversation going back and forth. Said, damn, Matt, still waiting on mine to touch down. Hopefully you get that soon, Lawrence. I'm really seeing the buzz for that, cigar kind of picking up everywhere. Cavalier Construction can totally be suspect. Okay, so it ain't just me. It ain't just me. And I would love for them to do something with their quality control, just to kind of make that more consistent. Because I feel like they understand the marketing of their cigars, and I feel like they totally understand the flavor profiles. If they can get that quality control down, then they could really be top tier. Really, really, really be top tier. I smoked through EPC's core line a couple months ago and found that a La Historia was hitting best for me this year. And honestly, I don't think you're alone in that. I got another one downstairs. I'm probably gonna light that up soon, just to kind of see how that's going. Because I want to try that La Historia again for myself. Now that my palate has changed, it's probably been maybe 2 years since I've had the La Historia. So I want to go through that again and try to see what's happening. And I'm glad you've taken the time to go through that core line and really see what's popping with it. I love for smokers to do that. They said, no, Peter. Peter Pallet strikes again, bro. He said Las Calaveras is great. I was saying this last week. The EPC best stick in his lineup is Encore, Majestic, but one of his better versions of the Pledge is La Carrillo for Crown Heads. Is that EPC? Well, yo, if that's the case, then that's what I'm saying. So like when he's collaborating, he's so all over the place. And y'all know how I feel about the La Carrillo. Like that is absolutely an all-timer for me. My phone is gonna get hot. I ain't even using it. It's gonna be cooking. I hope I don't forget it. But yeah, man, that I love that cigar, Greg. So you were so on point with that. I'm not getting my steps in. My phone is telling me. I started out loving Cavalier, and I don't get them anymore because of the inconsistency from ones I liked. Yeah, and I get it, and I totally understand that. Like I literally can't be mad at that at all. And I still love the brand, and it's still like when I'm talking flavor, I try to talk that brand up because I love the fact that the cigars taste so good, but that inconsistency will frustrate you, and so I totally get it. I can never be mad at that at all. So far, it's mad, but it just came in today. I'll let the remainder rest for a while before reviewing. I think that's a good move, man. I think that's a good move. And it's kind of disappointing, but I've been, that the whole up and down for the 30th, the reviews have been kind of all over the place, especially with the love that the 25th got. So let's kind of go. Inner Circle. There it is. I don't know why I can't think. So what I got to do now is I got to Cavalier Inner Circle with the Crown. Yes. Both of the Inner Circles are phenomenal. I like so good. So good. I almost had one the other day. If I didn't want this Bull, that's probably would have been the cigar for the live. It's probably going to be what I'm going to smoke on the next live. I love that damn cigar, man. And I got to think in my brain, the reggae band Inner Circle. I can never think of that for that cigar. For whatever reason, the name for that cigar and the branding doesn't match to me. So I can't make it connect in my head, but I can always see the cigar because I love what the band looks like. I love the way the cigar smokes. And that's what I got to do. I got to think of like Inner Circle. The guys that did the Cops soundtrack. That's crazy. He said, man, after pulling up 100 degrees mail truck. That might have something to do with it, Greg. That might have something to do with it. They need to have Cigar Olympics. Yo, hey, Rob, get up on that, man. And you saw what happened with Rob, and you know, so you do Cigar Olympics. Don't let that idea go to waste. Start writing, start getting some ideas down, man. That's actually dope. I'm gonna put a star on that. That's kind of fire. Damn. That's a fire comment right there. I like that one. I had a disaster of a much celebrated domain rogue. I thought it was awful, to be honest. What was it about that cigar, Lewis, that kind of threw you off? I'm kind of curious to see what you're gonna say about that, because I didn't have that experience. So I'm just kind of curious. That's his favorite blend style, and yes, EPC also many other popular sticks for many brands. Yeah, like because that's what I was saying about the collabs, Greg. Because like when he's working with other people, he gets busy, man. But he doesn't have a signature. You know, like I compare it to producers in music. You know, you got like the Rick Rubens, you got Timbaland, you got Pharrell, you got DJ Premier. I'm just going off the top of the head here to make an analogy that, you know, when you hear their sound, like you know who it is immediately. You know who that alchemist. You know what that producer is, and I feel like generally with Nick Melillo or Steve Saka, Noel Rojas, they have like a baseline to their cigars. You kind of know where the cigars are kind of going, even when they tweak and do little things to make their flavor profile a bit different. You can kind of tell that, you know, something is going on with that. I don't feel like EP Carrillo does that, and honestly, that's kind of cool when you think about it, to show the versatility of his palate and the versatility of how he blends. So, you know, that's not really a bad thing. All right, so we got some more here. Inner Circle Blue is the better of the two for me. Oh, I agree. I agree. That would be my favorite overall. I totally agree with that. But I like both, you know, so I'm not mad at both at all. But I totally agree with that. Laborata is EPC also, but not to my liking. This is the thing, man. Like that Laborata is a polarizing cigar, just in general, and I feel like it's polarizing for me, not just with the cost. I mean, the cost came in mind. I wish they would bring that price down on that cigar, but the first time I had it, I really enjoyed it. Second time I had it, was like, oh, it's okay. The third time I had it, like I wasn't like in love with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's been polarizing for me as well. And like I know, like just going through the chat comments when you just starting to talk about the Laborata, you're gonna have people chime in at how much they absolutely love that cigar, and you're gonna have other people to chime in to, you know, how much they disliked it and how much it didn't work for them. You know, you included. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a common thing. But just think about comparing the Pledge to the Laborata to the Le Carême. Absolutely completely different flavor profiles from all three of those cigars. You feel what I'm saying? Like that is something that is, I mean, it's an interesting body of work, and it's an interesting, you know, development on like how much different those cigars are. You know, most people, if you're not digging into, you know, the minutia of the cigars and getting into the blends and which factory it came from and all of that, you're going to be shocked. You would never connect EPC to all three of those cigars unless you're doing your research on it, which is fascinating to me. And I think that's kind of cool. What is he saying here? This is a tough year for shipping cigars. Dude, it's crazy. Look at me right now. I'm shining in the mug out here, and I got an umbrella up, sitting in the shade, and I'm cooking. So if I'm feeling like this in Japan, from what I've been seeing from people in Florida, Texas, Cali, Vegas, y'all cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough, man. So I kind of get the idea of, you know, I'm the type that I prefer being able to get my cigars off the truck and being able to just, you know, light my cigar up and enjoy my cigar right away. But going from post office to post office, truck to truck, and then being in the box and sitting, I would imagine that a lot of these cigars are going to need some time to acclimate and some time to rest. I mean, it's brutal, man. And I mean, this is a tough summer all the way around, man. It's crazy because everybody is heat wave. Everything out here right now, I think for the past, at least a month, if not longer, it's been Black Flag every day. It's been Black Flag here during the rainy season. Like, that's how hot it's been. So it is what it is. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I wonder, Lewis, if you know, with that domain, if dry boxing could have helped on that one, you know. But I'm also of the school where, like, you shouldn't have to, like, you know, be a mad scientist to get your cigars to smoke really well. And I know that's kind of ironic after just having that whole conversation about letting the cigars rest a little bit, you know. But there's always levels to it. But I kind of look at Cavalier as one of those brands that you got to be a little bit more particular about. You have certain cigars, not just with Cavalier, but let's just say Aganorsa, you know, with the Supreme Leaf. I feel like one of those, that's a cigar that, like, you really got to take care of your temperature on that cigar, because if not, you can get it muddy. Sometimes it can be amazing. Sometimes it could, you know, be bland, you know. So I think certain cigars, really, you have to be a little bit more measured than others. I think Cavalier as a whole is one of those cigar brands that you really kind of need to be kind of particular about how you're storing that cigar and when you're smoking it. Gentleman's Journal is up in here. What up, man? How you doing? Peace, bro. What we smoking tonight? We got the Bull, baby. Look at this, man. I'm chopping it up with y'all, going through the comments, waving my hands around, smoking sporadically, and this thing is still smoking like a dream, baby. We're an hour in, and it's actually smoking pretty fast for a Bull, considering. But that's just, it's such a balanced profile, man. Like, that is, you know what I'm getting from this? That is surprising. And y'all feel me, I'm not being, I just saw a comment that I got to pull up in. All right, let me get on what I'm saying. You know, this is kind of interesting, but this is what I'm getting from the cigar. And I think the drink is, you know, that I'm pairing it with is kind of affecting it. But what I'm getting, y'all remember, like, when you used to collect in the baseball cards or comic book cards and all that kind of stuff, like, especially like the tops, and they would have that bubble gum in there, and you would have that powdered sugar that's on the bubble gum, that really stiff gum, and it would kind of give you that sweet chalkiness. I'm kind of getting that from this cigar here. It's kind of giving me that bubble gum flavor, and that's not a bad thing. It's just an interesting profile. But I think it's not. I think it's what, you know, the mixing of this drink with the cigar, and it kind of gives me a soft sweetness and a creaminess that's kind of going with that, and it's like a nice, good chalkiness. You know, sometimes you get that dry chalkiness in a cigar that just kind of takes your palate away, and it's just like, what am I smoking right now? This is not that. It just kind of reminded me of that soft bubblegum flavor, which is kind of cool. Let me see what's next here. I've had so many problems with Cavalier that even with all the praise, I just don't care to risk it again. And I understand that feeling. And honestly, I'm not mad at that opinion at all, Lewis. Just because I've had my share of just wonky cigars from Cavalier. But then again, I've had plenty that I sat back and they smoked beautifully, and just like the flavors are it, and it's everything. So I still give my praise for it. But I don't knock you for saying, like, yo, I don't really want to go here and deal with that again. That to me, that's logical, and I'm not mad at you for that. It's too many other brands out here to not really go out and enjoy what you enjoy, and leave those cigars for other people to fight with. He is the closest thing to Don Pepin. Good point. But maybe passing even him nowadays. If he gets another number one, he'll be near the best blender in modern cigars for New World cigars. That's kind of Greg, that's kind of tough for me, just because it's like, because the thing with that number one, it's too many politics going into that number one. You know what I'm saying? It's too many politics going into that, the way that you can sway the votes. So I kind of see that as a good thing. I would love for him to make a cigar that is definitely number one worthy, just all the way around. But I would also like for him to get the people to back him with this cigar. Like, just you mentioning the Le Carême, that right there is a crowd favorite. And to me, that is probably his number one cigar, you know. And I think just because, not because of what, you know, some editorial is saying about his cigar, but just from the people smoking the cigar and giving the grand feedback, I want him to have another cigar that touches, you know, the public, you know, more than touching, you know, the reviewers in the magazines on that. But I definitely see where, like, he's definitely up there with the Eladio Diaz, you know, and Carlitos. Like, when you mention like the blenders of the blenders that are just up there, that are just killing it, and has reached legendary status, he's definitely earned the legendary status. You know, I would definitely say that for sure. But I love a comment like that, Greg. That's the stuff that makes me love doing these lives and talking about stuff like that. I think that's great. Does EPC Quad have a flavor base between them? Only one the player so far. No, Moses, that's what I was saying. No, they don't. That's my thing. Like, they're all completely different. And the main thing was with the Allegiance, was the one that the first time I had it, it was so different that I was just like, I was completely thrown off. I mean, it's so different. And I like the fact, even when I didn't like the cigar the first time, when I was really experienced, I was praising the fact that he took such a left turn to go with such a mild cigar, and to go with so much, you know, lighter, you know, greener flavors to go with that. Like, I love the fact that he did that. And I like the fact that he thinks that way with his cigars, you know, to be able to say, like, I'm gonna create something for a palette that's completely different from anything that I've done before. And you got like a medium blend, you got a heavier blend, you got a darker blend, and then you got this super light blend. And I'm like, that's smart. It's risky, but it was smart to do. So I got nothing to praise for the fact that he actually did that, man. And when I went back to the Allegiance after thinking about it for a while, it really made me appreciate the fact that, like, okay, I see what you're doing and I understand it, and I appreciate that cigar much more. Which is why when I did that quick off the top of the head ranking, that the Allegiance that was much higher than you would expect it to be. I think he did a good job now that I really think about it. Hold up, man. This I know it took me a while to get here, but good gracious, I'm gonna send some Cocodrillo's next package out. All right, that's full baller. Y'all don't know, man. That's baller status right there. That comment alone has just made this. That's like in the super chat. We out here balling on the vintage cigar. He said, I've been watching my dry box in Florida very closely. I haven't figured Cavaliers out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I get it. And I get it. And I like the fact that you're thinking about your cigars like that, and really trying to figure out, you know, how your cigars are going to work best for you. It's difficult here in Japan because, you know, we go from, you know, blazing hot to super humid to raining to, you know, beyond humid to, you know, multiple days with dry heat. And like my humidor and my dry box have been fluctuating. I've been watching them too, and I've gone anywhere from down to 62 all the way up to 70 in just in a couple days. So I get it. And, you know, and it's difficult trying to manage that, and then trying to manage, you know, finicky cigars on top of that. So I totally feel where you're coming from. The baller is going wild, yo. I can't wait to get to these. How many new cigars does Warp put out per year? I honestly I don't know. I don't know. Warp like because I haven't been following the way that I was doing like when I was actually doing reviews, and I was constantly pulling up Cigar Coop and Half Wheel and Cigar Aficionado and Cigar Journal and all this kind of stuff when I was reading the magazines and looking at stuff a lot. And you know there was that short period where I was doing the cigar news and all that kind of stuff. I felt like I was following everything. And just in general with Illusione and with Warp, their marketing is just so weird to me. Like I sometimes I don't know the new from the old, and I don't keep up with them enough. If a cigar from one of those lines is starting to like kind of hit the Instagram and discourse and people are starting to talk about it a lot more, then my ears kind of perk up a little bit. But my ash finally dropped on that. I didn't realize it. But that being said, it's hard for me to get those cigars in Japan anyway. So I just kind of go with the flow. Whenever they pop up, I smoke them and I try them out. But I don't follow what it's a new release or whatever. Like I just haven't been keeping up with it like that. So hopefully somebody in the comments that's really been following Warp is really going to give you some feedback. I know they yeah, but I haven't been keeping up like that. Let's see. Let me see what the ball is talking about. Warp been pumping them out lately for sure. But here's the thing: like they're pumping out these cigars, but I'm not really seeing anybody like giving super high praise for any of them. You know what I mean? So I haven't had anything that has stood out. It's a lot of anniversary editions and a couple new lines along with the drop series. What are y'all thinking about that drop series? Because for me, I never really loved anything that I got out of that drop line. Like, they were cool. Look at this. Ching. Hey, go off, baller. Do what ballers do. Yeah, I didn't like the black honey either, man. That's so funny that you mentioned that because that cigar was sent out to me, and I got a trash bag full of cigars that's over here, and that cigar is in that trash bag. Like I really did not like that cigar, and the OG La Camina is money. You know what I'm saying? So I just knew the black honey was gonna be crazy. But if you think about it, you don't really hear people talking about that black honey like they talk about the OG La Camina. So Hugo, what up? Me, that's mad funny. Showing love to E. Got the woof going. Kendall, what up? What's good? I see, like I wasn't feeling that mango, man. Maybe like I wasn't feeling it, dog. I don't know. Maybe I got to try it again. But that cigar was so hyped up for me, and it was it was initially like so difficult to get at one point, and I finally got it, and I lit it up, and I was just like, "That's it." But maybe that's just me, man. Maybe that's just me. I ain't like the Sky Flower either. I did not like that cigar, man. I just and that's what I'm like. That's why I don't really, get really, super hyped about it. And I know they kind of go for the Cuban-esque vibe and all that kind of stuff, but it's just nothing really hit for me the way that it was supposed to. I can imagine that it's scorching out there in AZ, man. Look at me, man. I'm shiny. I'm almost the same complexion. Like, you can't even see my tattoos right now. Like the sun beaming on everybody right now. Somebody was joking the other day that the sun is like, y'all remember Mario 3 when the sun would like circle around and come through, just land on you? That's what it feels like right now. So I know y'all like out there dying in Phoenix right now, man. So that's crucial. Hold up. Let me get back to that one. Sometimes it seems like Gellis is doing a Rocky Patel and putting out a bunch of stuff to see what sticks, but he doesn't keep putting out the goodish. I kind of agree, E. And my thing with it is like they always look great. The cigars look phenomenal. You know, as far as like I don't feel like they create a presence in the market where like they're drawing attention to a lot of their cigars. But as far as like naming the cigars and the bands and all that kind of stuff, they all look good. But I don't remember anything that's like standing out that's just making me go like, wow, you know? Nothing to me is hitting me like, wow. They're killing it right now. And they're like one of the most consistent brands. I'm not getting that from them. So I think that's the issue that I'm having with both Illusione and Warp. They're just not moving me with the stuff that they're putting out. And I'm not mad at them. It's not working for me. Sal said when the mango first came out, it was Shark City, but a few months later, they started to open up and become a lot better. And I trust your palate. I trust Sal's palate. So, you know, maybe that's the case, but you know me. You know, like I'm not one for like, you know, this cigar needs to sit forever and ever. This is probably the only cigar that I give a pass on, you know, letting it sit and giving it some time to age and develop and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not here for that. And so my thing is like, if you're going to put that cigar out for me to smoke and, you know, you're getting a buzz on it, when I light it up, I want it to be good. I shouldn't have to wait, you know, 7 months for the cigar to taste good. It's annoying to me. I can't stand that. It's too much hype. Got some cosign. Okay, so it's starting to develop. Where you at? You at the heart of the cigar right now on this mat? You said it's developing and getting better. I like the sound of that. That's good. He said Gellis puts out a couple turds, a lot of solid cigars, and 1 or 2 absolute gems. It's a lot to wade through, you know? It's a lot to wade through. JB, what up, man? Shouts out to everybody in the chat, man. Not sure why, or why? Not sure why. Would say EP has no style. Majority of his blends is CT broadleaf, similar to Foundation. Yeah. What I'm saying is that not just like the type of, you know, I'm not saying just the type of leaves. I'm saying that usually like when you have a blend, you probably, you know, are a lot more developed than I am. But I'm just saying like you can, there's a taste that goes along with certain cigar blenders. And that's a good comparison, you know, to Foundation and Nick. But if you're thinking about those cigars, you know, you can kind of put the Axum, you can kind of put the Olmec, and what's the Night Commander. Like if you just go down the line, even with the Maduro from the Wise Man series, you kind of like, you can kind of smoke those and you're like, okay, yeah, this tastes like Foundation. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're different and they're different levels to it, but each of those that, you know, that we've been naming, you know, from EP Carrillo have a completely different taste profile. So let's put Saka in this as well. You can do Muestra de Saka. You can do Mi Querida. You can do Sin Compromiso. They all feel like they have a baseline, but then they kind of branch off from that baseline. And I'm just going based on flavor, not just with the type of leaves that they're using or whatever the case may be. and they kind of feel like and I was trying to use the analogy of the producer, like it's a similar sound. The beat is different, but there's a rhythm to that beat, and there's certain signature notes in there that make you say, okay, I can see where he's going from this. But if you're talking about a pledge compared to let's say the Le Carême, like you would never put those in the same family. They taste so different that it's just like you would think somebody else completely, did that cigar, which is a good thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think EP is, is showing like a diversity with his palette and a diversity with his line. And I think that's a great thing. LFD is another one of those brands that I kind of feel like has a baseline to it. And even when they, you go for something that's like a Lajero, or you go from like a Solus or something like that, it's still, even with this one, this tastes different, but you still kind of feel like there's a consistency, or a through line with the way the cigar smoke from LFD compared to some of the others. And I'm not saying that's a knock on EP Carrillo at all. So I don't want it to come off like I'm saying that's a knock to him. I don't think it's a knock at all. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this lit. I feel like even with Fuente, you kind of know what you're getting from the Opus X. You kind of know what you're getting from the Don Carlos lines. You know what you're getting from a Chateau Fuente. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a baseline to all those different lines. And I think they all kind of work together, which is really cool to me. But I think you should be able to kind of swerve and go left and give people something that's surprising. Yeah, much love to Olmec. Much love to that. LFD is proud of their Cameroons, and I think they should be. I think they should be. And I like their Cameroons. I think they're good. Would I put them up there with an RS-88, or would I put it up there with a Don Carlos? Would I put it up there with the Definition Cameroon? Probably not, but I definitely enjoyed it, from Cameroon, and they definitely should get love. I need to go back with Aladino, and I kind of want to go through, well, maybe Mike from Cigar Carpenter would be really cool if he goes through that with all the, the Cameroons from Aladino, and just kind of do a shootout with that. I kind of want to see, I wish I had those, and maybe soon I'll be able to get my hands on them to do a comparison with all three for myself, because it's hard for me to speak on that just because I haven't had those cigars. I've only had the limited edition one from damn, I just said it. Why am I drawing a blank right now? From Aladino, and I want to see what this Reserva is like, because I want to get in on the hype, and I want to see how good it is. Let me see what here. So I think EPC's favorite is the Pledge. Those other blends are just him giving the people what they want: broadleaf, San Andreas, and more broadleaf. Like, yeah, and I see why you agree with that, Greg. And I know people love that. I'm just scared there's gonna be like broadleaf fatigue. I know people having it. Mike, Cigar Carpenter and I were talking about this. Like that fatigue is getting really strong. Don't get me wrong. I love broadleaf like the most people, and I think Cameroon is becoming a new broadleaf. I get it, but I don't want people, like, there's going to be a period where there's going to have to be another seismic shift. There's going to have to be, maybe, a new Brazil leaf is going to come through. Something has got to come through to change this whole thing. Like I love broadleaf like everybody else, and I know that this is the moment where broadleaf and San Andreas is like really standing out for everybody. But it's got to be like a Sumatra or something that's going to come in and take this out. Something has got to change, because I think for these blenders, they're doing something. They're going to do what's going to make their pockets fat, and they got to give the people you know, what they're gonna buy. You know, that's supply and demand, right? You know, that's the whole, you know, focus behind any kind of business. But god damn, it's like there's too much variety out here, you know, for us to just be like so hell bent on smoking Mexican San Andreas and broadleaf. And look, maybe I'm a part of it too, because I've hyped these guys up and I've hyped these leaves up myself. You know, I'm part of it too. I'm part of the problem. I love it just like everybody else. And I'm on this Cameroon train just like everybody else. But I don't go into, you know, picking a cigar to say what's the broadleaf that's happening today. You know, what's the new broadleaf? I don't look at cigars that way. I mean, there are times when I want a spicy Corojo, you know. Sometimes I want that cedary profile, or sometimes I want a Florida sun grown. And I mean, sometimes I want like just a natural sun grown. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like I'm going in the cigar like, okay, what am I looking for right now? Mild, medium, or you know, do I want something with some spice right now? Do I want something that has chocolate, or you know, just kind of what is my palate searching for right now? But there's so many people who fell in love with broadleaf or they fell in love with Mexican San Andreas, and that's where they're spending their money. So why wouldn't these blenders go out and try to, you know, feed the people what they want just so, you know, they can keep their business going? I get it. I just don't want people to kind of get hyped on whatever the hype train is, whether it's like, oh, it's like movies right now. You know, all the money is going into these comic book movies. So that's what you got to make. You can, you know, the Matrix was, you know, the thing that everybody was doing for a while. There was a whole period in the early 2000s where every movie looked like the Matrix. But somebody has to be able to come in and change that and make something that is going to just cause people to go in a completely different direction. I hate bandwagons. I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm just not a bandwagon type of person. Yeah, it is. I don't know if I'm gonna say way more, but I don't know. I just feel like those two leaves are in a fight for supremacy right now. And I get it, man. Like they taste good. Who doesn't want like a smooth, chocolatey, you know, kind of sweet cigar? I get it. You know, I get it. But there's a lot more to these cigars. Broadleaf and San Andreas is weather reasons. Come wintertime, can't smoke a Cameroon. It'll bust the cold weather, but Connecticut broadleaf won't. Yeah, and I know that has a lot. I mean, and I get that, but I think most people, just kind of in general, are like stocking up their humidors, and you know they've already bought their boxes, or they already bought their 5 packs, or they got their whatever their favorites, and people are either smoking in lounges, they're smoking in their garages. I don't think everybody's gonna be like me, where they got to be outside to smoke their cigars, and depending on how you're maintaining your cigars, I don't think that's going to have so much of an effect on that point. There's some people like yourself that are sophisticated enough to kind of know like what their environment is going to do to their cigars. But a lot of people are climate controlled, and they're smoking in a place where their climate is not really going to affect them, and they're buying their cigars to smoke year round, and you know, and it's really not going to matter and not going to affect them as much. You know, I totally get what you're saying. You know, as far as that, but I just don't think that's gonna, you know, gonna affect the masses. I think most people are buying for their palates more so than they're buying for, you know, just for their environment. And also, you got so many new people coming into the hobby that aren't sophisticated enough yet, and they're still learning, that they're just buying what is popular. They're buying what, you know, the reviewers are talking about. They're buying what they see in the magazines. They're buying what they're seeing on Instagram, and they're buying what their friends are telling them. So that's going to be another thing that's kind of pushing the sales a lot more than what the environment is. I said Jamaica Cow Tongue or Silver Tongue could be the next tobacco if they could grow more of it. I can't say on this one, Kendall. Only thing now, like after reading this, I can just kind of say like I will keep my ear to the street. What is it about it about those particular about that particular tobacco that's gonna make it so popular? Is there a flavor profile? Is it what Greg is talking about, like how the quality of the leaf is gonna hold up? Is it combustion? Like what's happening with those particular leaves that is gonna make them so much more special than anything else? And I hope it's something that will change the game. I never had the Jamaican Macanudo, and I will tell you this: like a lot of the Jamaican branded cigars that I've had, I didn't love. So I'm waiting to see if there's going to be something like, because I think the blenders have a lot to do with how these different tobaccos are going to work, right? Because they're going to be able to combine it with Piloto or Condega or Ometempe or whatever. They're going to be able to blend it with these other cigars that other tobaccos that we're familiar with, and you can make a great blend out of that. But if you don't, if you're not combining that with the right binder, or if they're not combining it with the right fillers and all that, like that wrapper is just going to be another wrapper. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to be using the Jamaican tobacco, to see how it works. Moses said, I think you're right on the movies, but that's what you have the art house producers for. Probably the same with smokes. Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing, Moses. When it came to the sun is coming out. Hold up. That's the whole thing with with what made these boutique blends kind of stand out recently. Like there were more, people kind of got more into these boutique cigars, and that's why they kind of stood out a little bit. And it changed from these very Cuban-esque or Dominican profiles, and it kind of moved to these kind of art house boutique Nicaraguan cigars and Honduran cigars, and then everything kind of started to evolve and change. And now, because of that, you have Mexican San Andres, you have the Connecticut broadleaf, and that's kind of what stood out. Those boutique brands pushed those to the forefront, and that was kind of the art house thing. But now this is becoming the new thing. This is becoming the Matrix. The Matrix was initially just something that was outside of the box, and that was new and it was different. And now everything is the Matrix. And then you had Blade, and then you had Spider-Man. Now everybody's doing. So that's what's happening with Cameroon. So that's kind of the way of things. Like something new is going to come in, and it's going to kind of change the game a little bit. I don't know, if Jamaica is going to be the thing that's going to, change it. It could have been the same thing with that Zimbabwean tobacco from Principle. That could have changed the game. I don't know. It's all going to depend on what people have access to, and it's all going to depend on what blender does something special with their blend that cause these things to go outside of the norm. So that's just my thing. Is like I'm curious to see like what the changes are going to be in the next five years or so. Somebody is going to do a blend that's going to set it off to a point where it's going to be like it's going to be the new cigar. And it could be Jamaican, it could be Brazilian, it could be Costa Rican. Honestly, I thought Manolo was going to be it with his Mexican blends with Casa 1910. It had a little flash in the pan, but it wasn't enough to change the world with that blend. So it's going to be something is gonna make a mark, and something is going to make a hit. Somebody's going to do the right blend. Somebody's going to have the right marketing. They're going to have the right band. They're going to have the right name, and it's going to be something that's going to hit the way Cameroon is hitting right now. And it's going to be something else that in the next 2 to 3 years is going to change it. I can't say what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be, I can't say, but I can say for myself that I'm ready to change. I'm ready for something different. My drinks were ice cold when I brought them out here. They're hot as hell right now. This is whack. It is what it is. Let me see. I recently have been drawn to Brazilian rappers, and I'm curious to try Jamaican tobacco. Florida sun grown is great, unique too. Yeah, and one thing that I like when with the Brazilian tobaccos, man, like you get that kind of waxy, nutty profile that's in there that is really good to me. And somewhere somebody's gonna use something. There are really good Brazilian blends that are already out there, but maybe that might be the next one to take off again. But we'll see. I don't know. Hey, who knows? We might go back to Connecticut in time. Just your standard Connecticut. Who knows? they are, man. They are. But it's just like I don't know, man. Because I'm just gonna kind of stay with the same analogy. I feel like even they didn't know what to do with the Matrix. They got kind of caught in their own hype, and they didn't have a way to really think outside of the box with their movies anymore. They already had their hit. They already did their thing, and it's kind of the same thing with Nolan. Christopher Nolan changed the way people did trailers and the sound effects and the way people kind of wrote, non-linear storylines and all that kind of stuff. Now it's even, kind of like, it kind of seems like Nolan is a one-trick pony. And it was the same thing, to use the same, analogy is with, what's the dude that just put out a movie? M. Night Shyamalan. After a while, like, you start to become a parody of yourself. And that's what happened with the Wachowskis. That's what happened with Nolan. That's what happened with M. Night Shyamalan. And I don't think it's any different with the blenders, Yeah, I like this comment right here in the call. So I'm going to go back to what Kendall was saying. But there's always a gold rush, right? So, and that's what we're waiting on right now. We need another, whatever this gold rush is going to be. We need another one. Now, that's a great one right there. Let me put a star on that. I like that. But he said Jamaican cigars are quite similar to in the rich yet smooth taste that is a characteristic of Cuban cigars. All right, so I want y'all to put in for me, what are your Jamaican cigars that you guys love? What are the ones that you feel like are game changers? What specific cigars are kind of blowing you away and making you feel like, this Jamaican tobacco is going to be what it is? I want to know what you guys are getting at. So Ian's saying the Wachowskis went through what George Lucas went through, made something so great and so original that they never reached that level again. Exactly. That's exactly where I was kind of going with that. And then they became a parody of themselves. And that's the tough thing. It's really hard when you make something that is damn near perfection. It's hard to recreate that. It's very hard to get a 10 out of 10. And once you have a 10, it's really hard to be someone that can do a 10 every time you come out. It's hard to do. And I say that's what makes a Carlito, a Saka, a Manilo, and EP Carrillo, that's what makes them special. To be able to have multiple cigars that taste great and to hit a home run like that, without enhancements and without, just something without a gimmick. It's really hard to bat at a high level like that. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to be Simone Biles. It's really hard to be Michael Jordan. It's really hard to be Michael Jackson. It's really hard to be Steve Saka. It's hard. It's hard to do that on a consistent basis, because once you do that, especially if you have a good track record, people are expecting you to hit it out of the park every single time. And when you think about just blending tobacco on a consistent level like that, and to do it in a place where you're not putting out the same thing over and over, and you're not just copying yourself, or you're not just copying whatever's popular, it's really hard to make a body of work that's unique each time around. That's really, really, really hard to do. So he's getting mad love for that comment, which I totally agree with. Let me go in there, put a star on that. I like this, so that's funny. But when you think about it, let's stay on that analogy. That's what a lot of people are doing right now. How many of these people are already selling off to General Cigars? That's what they're doing. They're basically selling off to Disney right now. It is a microcosm of the exact same thing. You have all of these brands that got to a certain point, and now they're just selling off and letting the big company handle it and mass produce. This is exactly what's happening, and a lot of these brands are going to get bastardized from that same thing. That last Matrix a couple years ago was garbage. Yeah, and that's the point that I was making on that, Matt. That's where I was going with that. And it wasn't like the 2 and 3 where they turned the Matrix into a superhero movie and it lost the political content, it lost the storyline, and they did it again. And you think with the Wachowskis coming back that it was going to be something great again, and it wasn't. They became a parody. That's the point I was making. Hey, look here. I know you're joking, but that Ron Mexico was actually kind of fire. So, hey, you never know. I'm not really sure when the islands are right to each other. Are they right next to each other? I'm kind of, let's see. Let me see what Intercost is saying. I didn't really understand that comment. Westerns, war movies, Cape movies all have their day at the top. Then they get stale and something new breaks out. Yeah. But the thing about something new breaking out, you have to have it to a point where you got to be willing to go against the grain, and you got to be confident in whatever your idea is. And you got to be able to trust your own palate to be able to say, what I'm making is far different from what's already popular right now. And then be able to say, I want to take this and have other people have faith in what I am creating right now. And that's where a lot of people are having a hard time, especially right now, when just the way consumers think right now. They want it now, and they want what they want. And it's very hard to put in something new to show people, hey, I know you like this, but this is also something that you want. And that's where the difficulty comes in, right? So we need to get to the point where, I hope this is somewhat cool. Having a hot Coca-Cola is rough. But it'll do. But being able to get yourself into a place where you're able to accept whatever that new thing is going to be. And you have to have the buyers support. And you have to be able to market and get it out there. And you got to be able to introduce something new and creative to people to say, like, yo, this is going to be the new thing. You got to get the cigar hound dogs to talk about it. You got to get the Cigars Invented to talk about it. You got to get the Cigars Daily to talk about whatever is new and whatever is different. And you got to have people, to get on Instagram and be able to support that. And you got to have Cigar Aficionado to give you the backup. And you got to have Half Wheel, be willing to give you something higher than an 80, 85. Like, it takes a perfect wave to allow people to introduce something new into the zeitgeist. Let me go here. Let's see. Connecticut River Valley Havana seed tobacco for a wrapper. I like the best. I'm trying to think. I don't know off the top, what cigar I can connect with that, but what is it about that particular wrapper that you like, Kendall? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But even still, because when you're talking about like terroir, they could be right next door to each other. But I mean, even if you just think about like the Nicaragua, uh, Condega is not going to taste like Jalapa. It's all going to be on the terroir. So just being that close to neighbors is not really going to make a similar leaf or a similar profile. And again, it's all going to be how all of that's going to be blended. Barrington House Premium Jamaican Cigars Limited is a good brand. Look into it if you can, if I can find them. Yeah, I'm curious, and I wonder if they will be out here. I'll find out when I go to Fukuoka to see what's cracking. I said, any suggestions for Corojo or Criollo wrappers? I'm trying to break out of the broadleaf Ecuadorian Cane San Andreas Cameroon cycle right now. Shoot. Moses, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I know there are some that I absolutely love, but like off the top of my head, I'm not gonna be able to bring them up right now. I'm just not sharp at the moment to do that. There are definitely some Corojos that I love though, so I'm gonna have to kind of go back and do some research. But off the top of my head, I don't know. But I know I've had some that I just absolutely fell in love with. So do me a favor, hit me up on Instagram. And shoot me a reminder just so I can kind of go through the Rolodex and just kind of pinpoint some. Oh, that's a good one right there, Intercourse. That's a good one. Bam. That is outstanding. That is phenomenal. And I think you will really enjoy it. And I know there are more. Because what I'm trying not to do is like my brain is thinking Cuban right now, and I don't want to do that. I know there's some more that are just in the New World cigars that are excellent. I'm just like not being able to bring up anything, but that Aladino Corojo is definitely a great suggestion. And we're seeing two here from Leaf by Oscar. See, boom, you got two people that are gonna support that. I'm not the biggest fan, but I just because I'm just not a fan of Oscar Valdez cigars. But if you're just thinking about outside of my opinion and opinion that other people obviously are gonna give to you, these are two opinions from people that I totally co-sign and that I trust their palate. There you go. They're gonna be. You know what? It's funny that you said that that this is Corojo, and I never think about that because this doesn't smoke like normal Corojos to me. You get the cedar, but this is way smoother than just about any Corojo that's out there, and it's so damn good, so damn good. But saying that I trust their palates, but that Aladino Corojo is absolute money. It's absolute money. So definitely go out there and try that one. And it's not one that's going to be hard for you to get your hands on. How long have I been going? Almost 2 hours. And still got more to go. Finally taking the band off after 2 hours. That's crazy. Anyway, what else y'all got, man? What else is out there? Just while we at it, let's just do this. Throw out some suggestions just for in general, cigars that are not going to be Not gonna be Connecticut broadleaf, and not gonna be San Andreas. What would y'all suggest, just in general, that y'all are smoking on that are gonna be bangers? Oh, money, absolute money. That cigar right there. I've been saying this quite a bit, that each time I smoke the SB 1014, it's either just as good or better than the last time. And I go back to that cigar, and I'm just like, let's say I'll go weeks and months without smoking that cigar. And then I'll just get a feeling, I'll just get a mood where I was like, yo, I want to smoke the red. And then it's like, bam, that cigar is like, it hits again. And each time I'm like, yo, why don't I smoke this cigar every day? It's really that good. It's really, really that good. Still got more on the Robusto here. Been going slow. Nothing like a good slow burner, baby. Especially for a Robusto, man. That's a good look. This is one of those. That's when you know you got a good cigar right there, baby. Let's see. It's the Del Crocodillo. I gotta have the cigar, man. Like, I'm feeling the push. I'm getting the buzz, and I know what you're saying. I can't comment on it for myself until I actually have it. But now, like, I got to get my hands on it. I guess I gotta wait for the CEO baller though. He's doing a Maduro. I haven't seen that, and I haven't had the Charisma yet. Who's had the Charisma? I got to get up on that. I'm behind the times, man. I'm way behind. He said I just had the Patina Oro de Nica Habana Oscura. Pardon me. Great cigar. Patina's been hitting out of the park, so I don't doubt that. Patina's been doing like really good and highly underrated. So I can only imagine that that's a banger. And hold up, before I get to that big one here, I got to go check that review. I haven't watched anybody's reviews lately. So yeah, see right here, Matt is with me on that one too. Patina's been on fire. That's for damn sure. Kendall said several premium cigars use the Connecticut River Valley Havana seed. Let's see, we got Liga 9. Okay, we got Fuente Montesino. Have I had that Montesino? I don't know. I got to look that up. Rocky Patel Sungrown. I actually heard good things about that Rocky Patel Sungrown. So that those sound like fire. Estate Florida Sungrown Limited Edition Cohiba. Okay, so it's a lot using that. Of course, that was the given, but that cigar is absolutely money. Had plenty of Charisma. Try lamp. Oh, good suggestion on the Lampert. For me, what is it? What's the blue joint? Is it Azul or something like that? I'm sorry, like I'm drawing a blank on the name, but that Lampert, is it Azul or something? God damn, that thing is money. So great suggestion on that one, Greg, for the Lampert. Great suggestion on Lampert. Whoa, like that? All right. I got some research to do, man. I'm excited to try it because I know if you hyping it like that I know it's got to be money. No, it's got to be money. Yeah. You know that's a given. It's an absolute given. Mil Diaz is always solid. Damn, you know, I really wish I had another Maduro. I can't front. I was hoping when John Hubert sent that box out to me that I was gonna get another Maduro in that joint. I was waiting for that. The Sun Grown is one of the very few Rocky Patels I do like. That's the thing with Rocky, man. He got a couple that's some bangers, man. He does. You know, but we all know how that goes with Rocky. Yeah, man. The way the word on the street is. So I haven't had it for myself. That's why I'm trying just to let you guys talk that up, you know. And I'm interested, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up. But I'm interested. Which lamper you got in the dry box right now? And I know, like, what is it, 1675 for Lampert? That's the joints that I normally go to. What's the other one? Is it Ocean Breeze? Is that? Forgive me, like y'all know I'm horrible with names. What is it? The Ocean Breeze joint. The only one that I don't like that people love is that Limitada joint. I know people like that cigar. That's the only one that I don't really rock with like that. Everything else I absolutely love. That's mad funny. That's mad funny. I need to like do more lives with the Lampert, because I want Lampert to really get his time in the sun right now. I really feel like, just in general, we were talking about just a lot of the the blenders and a lot of the brands that are kind of doing the same thing. And you got a lot of the same names coming up, and people talking about a lot of the same cigars. I want people to talk about Principal and Lampert in the same breath that they're talking about LFD, in the same breath that they're talking about Davidoff, and the same breath that they're talking about Foundation and all that. I really think Lampert and Principal, just in general, are putting out that level of quality. And you're talking about these, you're talking about these, these smaller, more boutique brands, and just talking about consistency in general. I really think those cats are really hitting it out of the park, and I feel like more people should be talking about them just in general, just their whole portfolio. And I really think they're killing it, and more people need to be on it. And Patina, honestly, I want Patina to kind of get in there too, now that I'm thinking about it. So I might make an effort myself, just to smoke a lot more of those, and just to kind of talk about those. I want more people to kind of get behind it, because you're not going to have these big magazines, and you're not going to have these big brands and these these larger reviewers that have these massive followings that are going to do that and push them to the forefront. So it's going to be up to us. And I feel like you have certain brands that belong to the smokers, like the people that aren't just kind of smoking, whatever, from the FCGs and all that, that are smoking cigars for the flavor, and smoking the cigars for the depth of the actual cigars, and going on the level of flavor profiles and consistencies. I think those cigars need to be, highlighted a lot more. And I'm glad that we get to have these kind of talks and these conversations to really put a spotlight on those cigars like that. Hey, man, what up, Jerome? I was just talking about you earlier, man. I was saying that you had just got your Olmecs in. So I hope you enjoy that. Oh, speaking of, I haven't done a lot with the Cubans recently, but he just recently got in the new Quay Dorsey. What is the number on that joint? Let me know, Jerome. It's not the 50. Is it 45? The one that you just had? And this was the Andalusian Bull. I see what you're saying right here. I got the Bull, but he was talking. some good things about that Quay Dorsey, that new Quay Dorsey, man. I want to get that so bad. Matt said, I'll just say box worthy, and there's not many places that have boxes right now. Do whatever you want with that info. Nah, that's telling you right there. So those that know that, they know. So Cocodrilo, that's where it is right now. Intercall said I'm smoking the Foundation Menelik, one of my all-time favorites. That's definitely a strong blend. I got in trouble years ago for putting that cigar on a list for people who are just getting into cigars, because I was trying to go against the grain that you don't always have to smoke, a Connecticut or something that's really light when you're just getting into cigars. Sometimes people are able to smoke a cigar that is stronger when they're just getting into cigars. Not everybody's going to get nicotine sickness, and sometimes you really want a cigar and you have a palate that is, maybe you've been drinking, strong coffee for a while, or maybe you just like more, robust flavors. That cigar is outstanding to me, and I think anybody can really appreciate it no matter how strong it is. So it's not going to work for everybody, but I don't want people to just, solely put the Menelik in just, it's only for full body smokers. I don't think that's the case. Greg said the Lampert Limitada 23 is the best Maduro I've tried this year. Wow. And see, I haven't had the Maduro, so I definitely want to see what that's about. So that sounds like a great suggestion right there. I'm rocking with Lampert, so I'm here for it. Everybody showing love to Jerome. What up? See, I need to re-up on the Lampert Family Reserve 23. See what I'm talking about? Like, I know y'all are like rocking with me because you guys like just love tobacco for what it is, and we appreciate cigars just for being cigars and just getting great flavor, and that's really the whole thing. And I feel like Lampert is really being consistent behind the scenes with doing that. That's dope. Let me see. Man, just got back from the gym. Me too. Me too. It was arm day, so I'm glad you had time to pop in. Okay, let me see. What up, Fred? What up, homie? And he said that the new Quay Dorsey was the 52. My man, thank you for correcting me on that, man. I don't know. I know not everybody has the luxury, of being an expat like us, so it's not as easy to get their hands on the Cubans. But it's quite a few people that are in this, chat right now that have a plug for Cuban cigars. If you do have a plug, if you have a connect that is actually getting you real Cuban cigars, get that Quay Dorsey 52. Go out and get that joint. The Bull is always lovely, man. Never have a problem with that. It is definitely full body, for the Menelik. I know it's full body. That Night Commander, that's one of the cigars recently that hit me, because that's a different kind of full body, man. Like I would take that Night Commander was money. I love that joint. I didn't like the Syngenta as much. That Night Commander was chef's kiss. Let's see. Ben said Padron 1000 series is better for beginners than Perdomo Champagne, in my opinion. I get why you would say that. And I think if somebody's gonna have a palate for Padron, then it's a good way to start with the Padron 1000 series. But for me, I don't think they are complex enough flavor-wise. Like, to me, it's just like bitter coffee, and it's good, but I would actually say instead of the Padron Champagne, I would say the 10th anniversary Maduro would be better than going with the Padron 1000 series. That's just my opinion, though, and I really appreciate your opinion on that. And I think it's worth, you know, for anybody to go out and that's just kind of getting started to try that. I got the 10th anniversary champagne. I pulled that out and put it in the dry box just the other day, just because that cigar recently has been coming up and it's been kind of polarizing. So I wanted to go back to it again. I like Perdomo. I really like Perdomo. And y'all know I'm not the hugest Padron fan, but I really like Perdomo. But I want to go back to that 10th anniversary to kind of see and just kind of, you know, dabble in that to see what I really think about that cigar once again. Cocodrillo was good, but I need to smoke a different size. The Corona got super earthy and minerally on me in the final third, and it totally dropped in cool points. So I get to see. I gotta try it for myself, but I like to have that counter opinion right there. I think that's major, and that's a good point, Fred. Let me see what Matt was saying here. I'm trying to catch up. You guys are actually rolling right now. I'll tell you what, though, the LFD 30th had just the right amount of nicotine in it. I know what you're talking about. He said, Greg, you know, Warp has my heart, bro. That's the first time that Warp has ever did me dirty. My heart hurts. I don't know, man. All right, we're gonna see about that. We're gonna see. So I got to try this for myself, man. That's why I'm trying to leave it to, you know, your perspectives on this cigar. I haven't had it for myself to say. Got a box of the Black Honey and bits of Havana from last year in the humidor. Man, Greg, did you have that Black Honey? Was that did you buy that box sight unseen, or did you try it and like, okay, I got to go out and get a box? That's what I got to know. I would say this, man, like, because you've really been in, you know, on that Cuban kick lately. I would say it's worth it to go out and try Warp. That La Camina is my suggestion, is where I would go first, but Warp kind of hit and miss for me. But I don't know. I would say it's worth it to go out there and make an effort to go out there and try all the different, you know, options that are out there. Perdomo 10th Carrillo is the GOAT, but discontinued. Did I have that one? I don't know if I don't think I ever got that, man. I don't think I ever got my hand on that. But you know, that's the thing about some of these cigars. It's like sneakers. You know, once they're discontinued, they're discontinued. And you know, somebody got it in the humidor somewhere that it's gonna be worth trying. Greg, have you have some of the OG Don Renatos? Fred out here hustling. Said the Warp Devil's Hand Lancero is fan-fucking-tastic. I haven't had the Devil's Hand. I don't think I ever got my hand on that one. 20th anniversary Maduro, better than the Perdomo 10th. Not a fan of Perdomo. That's not uncommon, bro, but I rock with Perdomo, man. Especially that Maduro. That Maduro is solid to me. What up, though? Hey man, it's all good. I'm gonna hang out for another moment. I got a little bit more going. The chat is live right now, so I'm gonna keep rolling for a minute. So you ain't too late. Let me go ahead and put that up there. The plug got a plug. Yeah, no doubt. I know you're a Warp fan. Warp has never missed with me. Everyone has been telling me to smoke the Cocodrillo in Toro. So hey man, time to get that Toro and see what's popping. Said Met Cal at PCA 2023 and just wasn't sold on the brand. His fault. Look, customer service is everything, you know. First impressions are everything. I like some of his sticks, and yes, I bought it sight unseen, and that was 4 years before I had it with. Listen, that was 4 years before I had it. Was like a Milky Way, not the same cigar right now. That's crucial. So, I'm kind of on the fence with this aging thing. So I wonder, you know, you've had some time with that box. You've been sitting on it for a while. You know, once you light that up, man, I'm kind of curious to see what you think about that black honey when you go in and just light it up. Because the one that I had was not it. It was not it at all. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's developing over time. My Spanish is not good enough for that. So. What is this about sharks? What I miss, man? I feel like I missed something. Oh, word? We already know what's cracking. We already know what's cracking with that. Red out here hustling. He trying to get that warp fix. I like that Don Bernardo. And that was another one of those cigars that was, you know, on that hype train. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And it was good, but it's not something that I feel like, you know, that I got to go out and like try to get it. That's it's not really in the cards for me. Okay, so yeah, my bad. I missed that. Man. Sorry for the smoke break. One thing about the Bull, you know, a lot of people are in the cigars for their transition, and they're in the cigars for like how the cigar develops over time. Just, you know, say for instance what Matt was talking about with the LFD 30th. It sounded like that cigar was able to kind of develop, transition, and grow into a better cigar as it went on. This Bull tasted the same from the moment I lit it up all the way into this point 2 hours later. I can't tell you that it evolved, that it changed. It's phenomenal to make a Salomon with a ring gauge that's this size, a cigar that's this long, that burns this slow, and the flavor stays the exact same from the beginning to the end. That's a special quality for me. I don't know about you guys, you know, when you have the Bull, but when I did that first review on the Andalusian Bull, that had to be 2 or 3 years ago at this point. And every time that I've had the Bull, it's tasted the same, and it stayed the same way from the beginning to the end. To me, that is a spectacular feat. That is one of the highest compliments that I can pay to this cigar, because to be able to blend a cigar that you're making it so if you appreciate the flavor profile, it's going to stay the same. It's not going to get, you know, I always talk about the cigars that have that crescendo at the end. Some of them, like what makes a great cigar, that if you get to the final third of the cigar and it doesn't crash out on you, which what sound like what happened with Fred and the Cocodrillo. And some cigars, like, they kind of peter out, or they burn out, they get muddy, they get dark, they get, you know, too much coffee, they get, you know, bitter at the end or whatever, they get that tar flavor, whatever happens. Then you got the ones that crescendo, and once you get to the end, everything just starts to kind of come together, and you get, you know, you get a creaminess, you get the chocolate at the end or whatever, it kind of builds and grows into something different. The Bull doesn't do that. The Bull stays the same from top to bottom. That within itself is impressive. I'm not saying that one or the other is better, and as far as like how it affects a cigar, I just think it's a feat to be able to make a cigar that is this size and this complex, and to be able to stay the same all the way through. That's what will put this cigar for me as one of the all-time greats. I don't think that's something that should be ignored, or something that should be, you know, I don't think that's something that should be overlooked. Let me catch up with what you guys are saying right here. Let's see. I want to put this up. I know this is, personal for the chat, but I'm gonna put that up real quick. Boom. And okay, he was saying I'll be pulling the trigger on a box of sharks soon. Look, you already know before I even go on to what else you're saying here. That's something you ain't never got to. You can close your eyes and aim and pull your trigger, and that'll be worth it for a box of sharks. You're never gonna lose. What would you say are the primary differences between the Añejo and the Don Carlos? The Añejo is going to give you this really. It's a little bit more robust and what's the way to describe that? Like you get that aged tobacco profile on that, and to me that is a beautiful profile, and it's more like a dark note that's in there, and it's a little bit more on the earthier side of the profile. For the Don Carlos, that sweetness that you get in that thing, it's probably one of the most well blended cigars that I've ever had, man. Just as far as the balance of the cigar and the nuttiness, the creaminess, from that cigar, and that fruit profile that pops up is something magical. Like, I try not to fanboy out, but y'all know that's my absolute favorite cigar of all times, right? Like, hands down, there has yet to be a cigar that has touched the eye of the shark for me. Like, nothing is like it to me. That's just my opinion. That's me being, an absolute fanboy for that cigar. And the way that I describe it is that they're definitely related, but they don't taste the same. But if you're going to give me an opinion of which one that I'm going to smoke every time, it's going to be the Don Carlos. Because to me, I feel like the Don Carlos is just eye of the shark. It's more complex and it's more developed. And it just gives you so many different, like the cedar in there is phenomenal. And that cherry sweetness is just outstanding. And then you get the nuttiness, and it's just the right amount of pepper in there. It's just hard to beat that cigar. It really is. So that's what I'll say on that. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I've had the Añejo fresh. I've had it where it's had a couple years of age on it, and I've had one that came from Master Your Ash that had 10 to 15 years of age on it, if not more. And I like it better when it's closer to fresh, because it's already been aged, and fermented for a long enough period of time as is. So I feel like it lost some of the flavor when it aged out, and that's my opinion and my experience with it. But you can't really go wrong with the Añejo shark. Like, I literally have not had a bad shark. Like, from my 1 and 2. And I did the live the other day. I just had the Opus, which was good. But my 1 and 2 is going to be the Don Carlos and then the E2 Brut from the Julius Caesar line. Those are my absolute favorite sharks. So if there's another one out there that's better, y'all let me know. But those are the ones that I put at the top of the list. The Intercourse said I smoked 5 warp sticks today. God damn. Congrats. They all had the same binder and filler, but different wrappers. The San Andreas was the best. The Connie was surprisingly great. There's really no surprise on that to me. The Sumatra and the Habano were decent. So with the Sumatra and the Habano, what was it that threw you off? Was it the spice? Was it the pepper? What was it with the Habano and the Sumatra that kind of threw you off? Said the Carrillo was lame. If the cigar is linear, but the line is a perfect line, then linear can be one. Exactly, Louis. That's what I was trying to articulate. Thank you for making that more concise. But that's what I was really trying to get at with this bull, is that the fact that it's good all the way through is what makes that linear profile worth it. And I'm not mad at that at all. And it's not many cigars that can do that. And so to me, that is just a testament to how good that cigar is. I agree. A cigar that hits the gas from the first draw and never lets off is the best. And that's like what's the cigar? El Pulpo. El Pulpo. The El Pulpo, like that first hit of that cigar is such a power punch. And you think like, yo, man, I'm in for a long process with this cigar. I'm in for the, like, this is gonna be a long. You get past that first third of the cigar, and when that thing starts to mellow out and smooth out and balance it, like it's outstanding. But you, like, when you first hit it, you're just like, oh man, I don't know what I'm, it's too much pepper, it's too strong, and then it just finds this harmony once you get to the heart of the cigar. And that is a cool thing, and that's a transition, and that's cool, and I think that's a good thing. The Bull doesn't have that. From the moment you light up, you already know what you're gonna get with the cigar. It's few cigars that start off creamy, and the Bull does that, and it stays that way. Like that, I had not lost that cream this entire time with the cigar. I haven't lost that vanilla sweetness the entire time. That is outstanding. Moses says it's got to be a beautiful thing, got to be pretty complex to keep you interested for a long smoke. Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm trying to convey here. Exactly. Yo, you don't have to look. You don't have to win the lottery for that. Look, every now and then. Smoke break. Every now and then you're gonna have to go outside of your pay grade. Every now and then you're gonna have to be able to just say, like, I'm gonna treat myself, and you don't have to be a baller, but every now and then you're gonna have to say, I'm gonna go outside of what I normally do, whether it's $10, whether it's $15, whatever your normal budget is for a cigar, and then you're gonna have to treat yourself to something that's a little bit more expensive. There's very few cigars that I will pay $25, $30 for. Very few. I will pay for a Sharp. That's me. That's the cigar that I will say that for the E2 Brew and for the Eye of the Shark, I'm willing to come out of pocket every now and then and drop $25, $30 for that cigar. And I know it's different depending on where you are and what region you're in. I get it. I understand that they could be, you got people that's gouging, you got the high tax, areas and all that kind of stuff. But just for the experience, one time, two times, it's worth it just to treat yourself. Do it for a graduation, do it for a birthday. Every now and then you got to smoke your best cigars. And this is one that I would highly recommend, that it's worth it to spend a little bit of money and go out there and try it. You ain't got to win the lottery for that. Every now and then you got to buy a pair of Jordans that you really want, you want to drop coin for. But if that's something that that you're going to absolutely, feel like it's an investment for yourself, that's one that's worth investing in yourself for. Might have to. I found a DC Shark for less than I paid for a Padron 64. Maybe I just got lucky. Yeah. And, if you got it, get it. If you see it out there, that it's going to work for you, then go out there and get that joint. I can honestly and truly say that it's worth it. Says, so in other words, I'm just going to cop both. Hey, man. Hey, if you got to get it. Yeah, I mean, look, to get a plug Shark, it happens. I got, a plug cigar from Saka before, like it happens, man. That's it's not like a Cuban where, where you get kind of skittish about like actually buying Cubans because they might be plugged. Or it's the same thing we were talking about with Cavalier, where you got to be skittish, like you don't really know what the construction is going to be on that cigar, and you don't know what the quality is going to be like. that is extremely rare from Fuente in general, and it's extremely rare from the Sharp. You know what I mean? So that's not one that I like have a fear about. Like, yo, whenever I go and I'll say right now, I probably got like maybe 4 Sharks left total, right? I don't look at that bag that I have of just for my Sharks and say, damn, you know, I'm scared to grab one of these right now because it's going to be plugged. I don't really have that fear. You know what I mean? It's going to come a time where, like, you know, Jordan is gonna come out in some dad jeans, and you're gonna be like, Jordan, what are you doing? You know, it happens. Like, you know, your greats are gonna do something that's gonna let you down, but it's not consistent enough that I'm worried about it. That, you know, I wouldn't spend my money on a Shark. I'm not worried about that. The flavors were kind of weak. Let's see. Is that connected? Are we talking? You know, you talking about like for the Shark? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's for something else or what. Correct me on that, Intercost. Living out in Vegas, $20 will get you a $5 stick. Got to order online for fair prices, and that's the workaround right there, fam. You know, because that, like, just in general for the U.S. market. Like, I feel bad for people in California. I feel bad for people in Vegas, and I feel bad for people in New York, just because just being able to casually, okay, I see. But just, you know, being able to, you know, go out to your brick and mortar and just grab it, you know, certain cigars, especially like the premiums. It's really frustrating, man. So I feel like the reason why my highest view video is the online website video is because that's the workaround, you know, because you don't have to worry about that. The only thing is just being patient enough to wait for your cigars to come in. If you find a good purveyor online, shout out to Tip Top. If you find, you know, a good purveyor online, like Neptune, or places that you can go to get, you know, some of your best cigars and get them at a reasonable price, that's the way to do it. And politic with the homies, politic with other people that are in the cigar community, find out where they're getting their cigars from online. There's always going to be a place that has good deals. You know, buy your cigars around the same time that the holidays are coming around, so you can get whatever their promotions are and stuff like that. That's the best way to go out and get the cigar that you want. And that might be a little bit more expensive, you know, sometimes. There are tricks of the trade by using it online. That is really the smart way to go, especially if you're in those markets that are just marked up and people are gouging, and they're gouging for the Bulls. They're gouging for, you know, some of the limited edition cigars that are out there, you know, the Opus X's and all that kind of stuff like that. You just got to be smart and just outsmart the you know, the provider. It's a way to do it. This is all facts right here. I'm gonna put a star on that joint right there too. Let me bring that back up. I mean, I didn't come up with the whole smoke your best cigars thing, but I made it a mantra because, like, the whole reason why we are in this hobby is to take care of ourselves and to treat ourselves and to be able to sit back and, you know, have moments like this where you're just chopping up with your friends and smoking a cigar that's going to treat you and make you feel good, be able to relax and enjoy your environment. So every now and then it's worth it to go out there and invest in yourself a little bit. So that is all big facts right there. It said, I live on a fixed income, disabled, and I managed to have a few. I don't know who that is. They're gonna have to send me a message. Let's see. Sorry about that. I just got a call on my watch, so I didn't know what that was. Disabled, and I managed to have a few status sticks a year and show myself some respect, no doubt, for what I've survived through. So, dude, that's one of the best things that I've read in a while, man. Like, we all go through our hardships. We all, like, you know, can be in tough places at some point in time, and not all of us are gonna have disposable income. But at the same time, we got to know when to treat ourselves to, you know, to something that's gonna make our quality of life better. You dig? So I totally hear you on that. 100%. Oh, and you were talking about the warp earlier. I caught that earlier. Yeah, I mean, look, I can feel you on that. You know, not to harp on it and not to harp on that brand, but yeah, that comes up. You know, you get some weak profiles every now and then. So yeah, felt. Is there a reason people are against draw tools? If I have to save all of my plug $30 smokes from for the cost to have one that's that sounds like a fair deal. And Moses, I used to be in that same vibe. I used to be in the same thing. I went out and bought a perfect draw and all of that kind of stuff. But my experience, I'm just going off of my experience. Usually if a cigar is plugged and it doesn't smoke right, sometimes you can't save it. So even like when you're poking all of these holes in the cigar and you're putting forth all of that effort into a cigar, I feel you when you're paying a premium for a cigar. Like, yo, I just spent my hard-earned money on that I want this cigar to smoke. But I've noticed that sometimes if the cigar isn't bunched properly and it's not drawn properly, the flavors are all off. And even after you get it to the point that when you've already been trying to draw on the cigar and trying to pull on it, the tobacco is already kind of foobar. So it never really tastes the same for me. And that's the experience that I've had with it. So I just got to the point where I just stopped messing with, trying to save a cigar. Because it's only been a few times where I've actually saved a cigar to where it actually tastes like it's supposed to. And it still smokes like it's supposed to. So if the cigar it's like getting a bad car. If it's a lemon, it's a lemon. Unless you really know what to do to really make the cigar, to make the car work again properly, most of the times it's already foobar. So I just stopped fighting with that. It just is what it is. And sometimes I just chalk it up like it's just not working. I hate, pulling a big, twig out of your cigar or trying to, shove that, poker into the cigar and trying to get it to smoke again. Because a lot of times it just doesn't, you can't revive it. And it gets frustrating. So I just kind of left that alone. Shit crazy with them prices over here in Saudi too. Now, I can imagine, man, and it's just like it's a supply and demand thing too. Like we've had so many people come into this hobby as of recently, and it's become almost a status thing for cigars. And we got so many people pouring money into it's just like the sneaker culture. You got so many people that are pouring money into it. So now it's not a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. You dig? So it's just kind of one of those things that is happening that way across the board. So when you can find, not necessarily budget cigars, but you can find reasonably priced cigars that smoke well and are out there in the market and at a reasonable consumer base, we need to vote with our dollars and to put our dollars in the right places and support the bronze backs and support the SP 1014s and support the Juarez and so on and so forth. With all the cigars that you can get at a reasonable price that can smoke better than a lot of the cigars that are out there that they're trying to push for $30, $40, $50, $60. It's just for me, when it comes to a shark and an eye of the shark, that's a cigar that I know I can rely on. So I don't mind spending my money on that because I know it works for me. But I'm not going to go out here and buy them all the time, but I am going to support it because I know it's a good cigar. It's just a tough market right now all the way around. Grayson said, I was lucky to pick up a couple Opus X Lost Cities for my best friend's wedding. Super excited to try them out. Honestly, dude, I hope you'd like that cigar. That's not my favorite Opus, but I hope it lives up to your expectations. You got certain people who love that cigar, and you got people like myself that it's not my favorite from that line, but it's worth it that you're gonna get that experience, especially to be able to to celebrate something that was a highlight for your best friend and for yourself. So I really thoroughly hope you enjoy that cigar, Jack. He said we get by in Cali. it's tough as hell though. Yeah, man, I was out there, so like I know. But good research and advice helps a lot, man, and that's good. That's what this community is for, Ben. That's I got to give nothing but props to Matt for really spearheading and kind of starting that whole bomb culture for everybody to be able to send out different cigars and people in the community supporting each other. And you got a lot of different people. You got the Sal's, you got people like Peter, and it's so many different people who have been generous with cigars, and not just sending out cigars, but like putting out different places to get cigars from, and making their channels and making their Instagram and making their profiles available for other people to be able to say like, hey, this is where you can get a great deal. This is where you can go, and this is where you should go to get this. That's what this community is all about, and that's what's made this community so dope. That everybody's, each one teach one. One hand is washing the other, and it's giving people a lot of experience and a lot of chances to be able to smoke cigars that they normally couldn't get their hands on, and learning about different cigars. There were a lot of people who didn't know anything about Warp, didn't know anything about Lampert, didn't know anything about Principle, and so on and so forth. Cavalier, Casdagley, and just being able to put that information out to other people to say like, yo, try this website, or try this store that's in your area, or go to this brand or this person. And everybody's been able to like really develop their palates and develop their ability to review cigars, and just to smoke on their own personal basis, and to really be able to appreciate the culture for what it is. And I harp on this community thing, and I do this live just to be in there, to be in the space, to kind of help guide, and everybody can walk with each other. That's why when I did the channel, that's why I was doing the buyer's guide, to kind of like, yo, this is what's out there. These are your options, and these are going to be the best options that you have to try a new cigar. If you're trying to learn about Davidoff, if you're trying to learn about Southern Draw, if you're trying to learn about Patina, these are the options that are out here that can give you a different experience and to give you a different perspective. And it's not all going to be Drew Estates, all the time. You know what I'm saying? That way you can try Joya de Nicaragua and see if you like that brand. You can. It's there's so many different options. Even like it's a brand that I don't smoke very often, but Blackbird is out there. Go out there and try Blackbird to see if it works for you. It might not be my favorite, but there's an option out there for you to go out there and see if this brand is going to work for you. And sometimes, you're gonna have people who do budget brands and be able to talk about AJ Fernandez New World, or Matt was huge on putting everybody on to Buffalo 10, or we can talk about Umbagab. Like there are options out there, and the more you're around people who are experimenting and pushing the envelope and trying different cigars, that you're gonna be able to find your own sweet spot. And the more we work together and stop pushing and trying to be you ain't up on this, I'm the only one that's doing this, and I was the first person to have this cigar, and blah blah blah. Like, I hate that narrative. I hate that when you got so many other people. The beauty of this is to be able to have a camaraderie and friendships, and to really to have more options, so people can learn about LFD and what's in LFD and brands that are out there, to understand what's good for Fuente, and then introduce people to different lines like Principle, and like, yo, you need to try the Martinique. That's absolutely money. All of that kind of stuff, like, it comes together the more people talk about where their palate is and where their price point is, and what different brands that they have been experimenting with, and all of that. Like, I probably, without some of the fellas, I probably never would have tried El Pupo, but that, like, I didn't think that cigar was going to be as good as it was. It was phenomenal. You dig? Like, so, like, we helping each other out, man, and just making it easy on everybody out there. That's the goal. From region to region, from coast to coast, from country to country. It'll be my first Opus, so I have no other comparisons. It'll definitely be a great experience, though. I doubt I'll hate it, and I doubt you will hate it too. My thing is that when it comes to Opus, you just got to think that it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say it's mild, but it's definitely a more. It's a lighter, smoother, sweeter, woodier profile than a lot of the other cigars out there. So it depends on what you've been trying for yourself recently, and it depends on what your wheelhouse is. We were talking all through this live about how most people are smoking Connecticut broadleaf and Mexican San Andres and Maduros and all that kind of stuff. Opus X is not that at all. It doesn't smoke like that, and that is actually a good thing. You might really love like that cinnamon and that cedar, and you might love like some of the sweeter fruity notes, but it might be lighter than what you're familiar with a lot of different cigars that you've been trying. I don't know where your palate rests and what your normal baseline is. You're not gonna get the earthier profiles from that. It's not gonna taste like some of those. You might like minerality, and you're not gonna get it with Opus X. But all in all, that's a good thing, though. There's components to just that Dominican profile and what Fuente does that is special. And Opus X sits in a world of its own. Like, so, sometimes you get that pure tobacco core, note that is just outstanding. So go for it. And Grayson, I would love to hear what you think about it once you actually try it for yourself. All right, my battery's getting weak, so I'm gonna get through these next few, and then I'm gonna get rolling. I've been out here for 2.5 hours. I gotta see what time is it. I gotta teach a class. I ain't got much time, so I'm gonna get through these next few, and then we're gonna roll. I've recently been branching out of my regular brands, and I found some great sticks. I love the Boulevard Churchill. All right, bet, and I love the price even more. Yeah, that's coming from those heritage brands. I'm not the biggest fan, but I can see why you would definitely appreciate that cigar, man. And if over time, if you can get a real Bolivar, you want to talk about life changing, that's gonna be life changing for sure. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to close it out. The DSD, the Gloria Brazil, is one of my top cigars I smoked in 2024. I gotta try that, homie. I really dig Brazil. I haven't had it for myself yet, but I definitely want to try that. And that's high praise right there. So I definitely want to see what that's about. Those Buyer Guys videos definitely helped me get my start in cigars. Thanks for those, man. Rest of the new wave guys are awesome too. Yeah, they dudes are far greater at what they do than I do, man. They're dope, man. I'm just glad that I was able to make content that helped out Moses. I was really, really trying to make something that could get people to explore and go a little bit deeper into portfolios and really see what's out there. So that means a lot to me, man. Would have loved to see somebody pick up the Buyer's Guide, man. Maybe somebody will, man. And I'm not one that's gonna be like you got to pay homage or kiss the ring and do all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. That's a show for myself that I miss making, and I miss taking the time and effort that I put into doing that, just because I thought it was fun, and I thought it was able to really do a broad swath of a lot of different cigars in one video, and for me to develop my own palate and actually help other people develop theirs too. That was really one of the most fun shows that I made. And, I can't front like I don't miss it. But who knows, man? Maybe somebody will take that torch up. It's a lot of bandwidth and a lot of space on YouTube. So, feel free. Oh yeah. Shouts out on that El Pupo, man. Let's see. Jerome said with the Lost City, the flavor should hit for you, but if you have to relight it more than a few times, consider this heads up. You should enjoy it though. Yeah, man. Like, cause for me, man, I like it was never an experience that was like wow for me. I can't remember whether I had to do the whole relighting thing, but I do remember it was more of a consternation to deal with that cigar than I wanted to. But it just like I don't know. I don't know if it was in my own head that I was expecting more, from that. Glad I caught you live. I'm going to be on the hunt for the shark, man. Most def, man. And intercourse, get back at me when you have it, man. I really want to know what your thoughts are. If you say it's worth it, I'm down. Much love, brother. Much love to you, man. Thanks for joining in too. He said Carpenter has kind of picked up the mantle. And you know what's funny that you said that, Ben, is like I really, 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 really rock with Mike, man. I like dude just in general. I think he's funny as hell for one. And I just think he's really insightful and really thoughtful in how he does his show. And whether it's just a single review or it's really just doing, his burn downs and shootouts and all that. Like I love his content. And I really think he's really good at doing that. He doesn't call it a bias guide, but I would agree that it's the closest thing to a bias guide. Shouts out to Fred too. I see that, yeah. But like if there was someone that I would say was a successor, I gotta put this up. Well, if it was somebody that I would say that it was a successor to the bias guide, it's definitely Cigar Carpenter. Shouts out to Mike. If you guys don't follow him, please go subscribe to him because it is really one of the best channels that's out there right now. And I'm not saying that because it's similar to the bias guide. It's just like if I wasn't in the review space at any point in time, that is definitely one of the shows that probably would have inspired me to get off my butt and to make reviews and to make a channel. And that's somebody that I would have subscribed to like right away. And even when he was just doing like the written reviews on Instagram, I was a big fan. So and I say that with all earnesty, like that, like that's that guy, man. I rock with him, and it's a great show. He said, I've been moving back towards lighter flavor body cigars, so I'm excited. Yeah, then this might be the move for you then. I used to basically smoke only Maduros in Nicaragua. It's kind of cool to see when people's palates start to evolve and kind of, change a little bit. Shouts out to homie Pan. I see you up in here too. It's one of those things that you're going to evolve over time and your palate is going to change. I'd say definitely get into the Fuente line. And I would say try a lot of Hoya de Nicaragua too. Some of their lighter cigars like the Uno, and also try like some of the Florida Sun Grown cigars, the 20 Acre Farm. I really think you would dig that right now. Try the Kintsugi as well too. And it's rare that I would recommend Alec and Bradley, but I would love to see what those would do for your palate since you're kind of evolving a little bit. Yeah. Go out and check out Fred and Mike for sure, man. Subscribe to their channels. They're making really good content right now, man. And I love the fact that there's still people out here doing reviews. It's just I just wasn't in the space, but I really think like it's some really, really, really cool reviewers out there, man. People doing a great job. And master your ash too, for sure. What up, Pan? Glad you was up in here, man. Always good to see you, homeboy. Yeah. Man, for sure. Yo, he is Minnesota white for sure, but that's my guy, man. Alejandro, what up, homie? Just got back from Rucking. Am I reading that right? I don't know if I want to know what that means. All is well, man. Life is good, man. Life is good. I hope life is good for you, homeboy. Long time no see. SYBC. All right, for sure, for sure. I think I'm gonna leave it right there, man. This I don't know how much time I got on this battery, but I've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. You know, I just came out of the blue and just popped up, man. And I don't know, we maxed out at probably close to like 30 people viewing the channel. Rucking, power walking. Oh, nice, 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 man. That's actually a good walk. That's some calorie burning right there, man. So look, man, I was making this joke. I don't know. It was. I think it was on the new wave joint, man. On the infamous smoke show. I ran a 5K, and this dude was speed walking and power walking in front of me, and I couldn't catch him. And I was running. So you probably got that kind of power walk right there. I need to get one of those vests too, man. I got one in my Amazon list. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, man. So much respect for you to getting out there, especially in this heat, man. I hope you stay hydrated, bro. Putting your health first, getting out there and putting in some real exercise right there. I've been running lately, man. Running is where I've been clearing my head, man. I've been doing like 2 miles. I know it's not a long run, but it's just been enough to get out in Japan, actually, see what my neighborhood is like, put some miles on, get some of that fat burning going. So it's all good. Hey, man, Bialik, appreciate you, man. Much love on that, man. So, this live is nothing without y'all coming in and providing some conversation, giving some feedback, keeping me on my toes and giving a lot of perspective and opinion on what we're doing here, just, as a cigar community. So, I got nothing but love for y'all, man. So I know I do this at the end of every show, but thank y'all for being there and hitting the like button, commenting and sharing your perspectives and taking the time to chill with me for pretty extended amount of time, man. It means a lot to the kid, especially now that I don't do reviews or anything like that. So it means a lot. So if you know, that's the homie right there. Much love. Moses, shout out. Jerome, peace. Alejandro, Grayson, Matt, Pan. Like I can go down the line, man. Like, it's dope that I got a relationship with quite a few of you guys, off of the live, and the majority of you have become familiar names, familiar faces, and I know it's people that lurk and don't comment, but being able to sit back and listen to the show. Lewis, what up, man? Thank you. And, the support means a lot, and just to have the time to really kick back and make this cigar community what it's supposed to be. I'm gonna try to keep it rolling. So, the cigar baller is up in here too, man. So I feel like $1 million whenever he pops up. Dude, you stupid. But yo, I'm up out of here, man. I'm gonna go get a shower, wash the sweat off, and I got a class to teach tonight. So y'all keep smoking your best cigars. Keep following the Vintage Cigar. Go always smoke your best. Go out there and experiment, and just keep supporting everybody that's doing these reviews and taking their time to make content for y'all, man. It ain't easy, and so we're gonna keep it rolling. I'm gonna end it right there. I'm hungry too, so I'm up out of here, man. Keep balling, no doubt. Y'all stay up. Peace. EKB is out. Ball it. Y'all stupid, man.